Yo, everybody. Good to see you guys. Glad you could make it. Thank you for coming. Tonight's going to be exciting because we are reviewing a debate between, what's his name? Gerald Morgan versus Andrew Wilson. It's about, can a Christian be a Zionist? It's going to be quite interesting. But we are joined by, sorry about the noise in the background. It's getting quite crazy here. We got PJ Cruikshank, Derek Nelson, and Roger Ledwell. Hope you guys are doing well.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Sorry, did you just hear that blast of sound from my YouTube, no?
Mm.
Good. Well, good. I always think it when that comes out, you can hear it through my mic, but cool. Yeah, I mean, to the answer to the question is, why not? Why can't a Christian be a Zionist? If it's just supporting the people for going back to the lands or having the land of their own, then what's wrong with that?
Yeah,
as long as it's not the government political complete. Do you know what I mean? The government says, as long as you're not supporting the government as such, because I don't trust any governments, but for people just wanting to have a land of their own, I don't see anything wrong with that.
That's exactly where I'm at. Like, I mean, I have no problem with Jews having their own country at all. Like, why shouldn't they?
Yeah, what makes them any less of a person than the rest of us?
Well, they're not any less. They are just people that are deceived, that need Christ.
And yeah, my thoughts are, it's like I call out when my own country is wrong, or my own government is wrong, which they are often.
Yeah,
so
they heard on a regular.
Yeah, I know. Right. So if I call out my own government, yeah, I'm not going to stick up for other people's government if they're wrong.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good to have you guys. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Please hit the likes, share the show. The debate only starts a bit later, but I want you guys to listen to his opening statement quickly.
Cool.
Because I do think it's quite important. I haven't listened to the debate yet, though, but I did listen to like the first few minutes of this opening thing, which I think should be listened to. Yeah, it's quite new. I think they did this last night, so it's very fresh. Okay.
The Jews. Well, now that we've got all of your attention, Israel is the third rail. I want to say new third rail, but I know it's not new. Israel has been the third rail for a very long time, and it kind of comes and goes. And it seems like right now, anything that you do talking about the Jews makes you one of these two polar opposites. Either you're a Nazi and you hate all Jews and they're responsible for everything, including the death of JFK and aliens, or you are a Zionist shill, and Israel can do nothing wrong including killing 5-year-olds in Gaza right now. Doesn't really register on your radar, but there is a...
That's what I wanted you guys to hear. And that is practically what it is. It's kind of like very separate sides.
Right. It's black and white or something. Like, no, hold on.
But according to certain people, the likes of Flats is both anti-Semitic and Zionist.
Yeah, I am somehow an anti-Semitic Zionist Mossad agent. So I don't know. I'm like everything. I'm just waiting till they tell me I'm not even a guy.
Well, it's like telling you, Flats, goodbye. We'll see. I mean, you're a Zionist, anti-Semitic. That's really a redundant statement, isn't it?
It's bizarre. Yeah, Keith, you're an anti-Semite Zionist.
Yes.
Yeah, that's...
What?
Yeah. I'm a Mossad agent. That's why.
Just that phrase doesn't even make any sense.
Give me 2 seconds.
It's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
It's madness. I think it was Sean Hawkins that said that about him.
You're taking something Sean Hawkins to heart, man.
Oh, well, Sean knows everything, doesn't he? Sean Hawkins is so clever. I mean, I don't think Sean Hawkins is stupid. I don't think he's unintelligent.
Well, it's like he does some stupid things.
Yes, he does do stupid things. I mean, what I mean is it's not like he hasn't got a brain. That's what I mean. He's got a brain. He could think, stuff like that. He does do stupid things. Absolutely. You're right.
No, yeah, I'm on board with you. Like, he's not entirely stupid. It's just what leaves his mouth sometimes. Like, what?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's good having you guys here. I think we're gonna go to where they start talking. There we go. Guest Andrew Wilson. I don't know if You guys probably in the panel do know Andrew Wilson, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've
Not
done him
sure
before on
if
here.
I've
You've had him on.
Yeah. I love Andrew Wilson. He debates really well. But there are things that I do not agree with him on. And it's probably going to be this as well, that I do not agree with him. But yeah, let's see what they say. Like I said, I haven't watched the debate either, so it's fresh for me too.
I have not heard it either.
So it's going to be quite interesting. What does the poll say so far, by the way? Can a Christian be a Zionist? Yes, 33%. No, 54%. Not sure, 12%. Quite interesting.
I have voted yes.
Hey, Luca, what's up?
Hello.
How's it going, Luca?
It's going pretty good.
That's good. That's good. And what are your thoughts on can a Christian be a Zionist?
What is a Zionist?
What was that?
Someone who believes the land of Israel is allowed to be alive and own a state.
Well, I guess my question would be like, why would that stop you from being a Christian?
Exactly my point.
It doesn't.
Good question.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Ah.
But apparently, if you are evil and you are Satanist and you're not supporting the Bible because apparently God divorced his chosen people and everybody hates Jews because they claim they are Satanists who run the world.
Ah.
Yeah. But the problem is when it comes to Christians who fight against Zionism, quote unquote, they have what you call replacement theology, which is heretical. So they want to replace scripture with their own kind of theology. This is why they cherry pick verses and they try and change it to say something it doesn't say.
Oh.
Because they have a hate for the Jews. Which is sad, because God's very specific, do not hate your enemies. Love your enemies.
That's right.
And forgive them, too.
Love everybody.
Love thy enemy. Okay, yeah, okay.
I mean, so what if they don't accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior? That doesn't mean you should hate them. That means you should love them because you can give them an opportunity to accept Jesus. That's what it's all about. I mean, you don't decide, oh, guys, these atheists or Satanists, I'm just going to hate them just because they reject Jesus. No, you want to show them love because you want to show them the light. You want them to accept Jesus. Exactly. If you're going to push them away, you're literally causing condemnation on them. Do you know that, guys? You've literally put blood on your own hands.
Did I?
If you are trying to put people away from God.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I never have tried to put people away from God, so I guess I don't have blood on my hands, I suppose.
Yeah, me either.
I just want to tell Law Translation says Andrew Wilson is great, but absolutely mauled Craig FTFE. Yes, he did. But
He did.
Not to be funny, FTFE can get mauled by a damn trash can. So.
But I'm going through an emotional time.
Especially when it comes to theology.
I mean, he's got mental problems sometimes.
I do like what he does with on the whatever clips with the only ceiling fans and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I like what he does with them because a lot of them are all entitled and this and that, and they go totally against biblical principles, and he gets them told with that. I do like what he does there, but obviously he can't be right on everything. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, look, where can people, before we get started answering all of these questions, which I'm sure will draw zero controversy from the interweb?
We don't need to do it.
Time slot.
Where they start.
I'm not sure who you're paying over there for detail, right? You and I talk every once in a while when these issues come up. Maybe sometimes you'll chime into an X post that I make or vice versa, and then we'll text or something like that. And what I have seen as a Protestant is that there is this really, I guess, bad theology that's floating around there about the state of Israel. And anytime I bring that up, anytime I try to have some clarification, I immediately get labeled a Nazi. Which is really funny because the day before I am a Zionist shill, which is really hard to do, but I take the hats off and get the checks wherever I can get them, I guess. And I just kept thinking to myself, there's got to be a better way to have these conversations. There's got to be a better way to try and figure out where the truth actually lies instead of all of this extreme rhetoric and all of the people just saying everything that Israel does is completely fine and everything that they do is absolutely horrible and they're trying.
Exactly. I 100% agree with what he's saying because we're going through exactly the same things.
Yeah.
We're very specific when we say we don't support the government. Okay, we don't even support our own governments, really.
I know.
What we're doing is we support the right for the people to live. We support the right for people to defend themselves. We support the right for them to stay God's chosen people, as the Bible says they are. God tells us to defend the chosen people of God, even when they are disobeying him.
So, can I ask you a question right quick? Aren't politicians supposed to be looking out for your rights? Correct?
Well,
supposed to.
Yes.
But politicians, how can I say, they play both sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
They don't look out for your rights, man. That's the problem.
I mean, look even at the journalists today. They have set agendas.
Yeah.
Very one-sided.
Yeah.
It's either red or blue. Full stop.
Yeah. Left or right.
There's no in between. There's no unbiased journalism really these days. It's difficult to find unbiased journalists.
Well, there hasn't been in over like 50 years.
Well,
not really. And then every time there has been, all of a sudden they lose their jobs.
Yeah, they just disappear or they lose their jobs. Yeah. Or you have independent, unbiased kind of journalism, which still works for a while. But it's weird because it's literally just left or right all the time. There's no impartiality between both.
No.
Well, even like Sky News, they're not impartial anymore. They were to a point, but now they're completely right-wing journalists, what I can tell.
Yeah, there's no spectrum. It's just either black or either white. That's it. There's no gray areas, nothing like that.
Yeah.
To completely subjugate every other government on the planet and everything else. And I'm just like, God, we're not getting anywhere with this. And I
should have put out, we're saying, oh, this government bashing is really funny. Given at least 2 people on the panel get government assistance. You literally pay tax to get that government assistance. You do know that. The tax pays it. The government doesn't pay it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, like I haven't paid tax in my life.
No, you never pay tax. I mean, you were just, you get it for free. Yeah, my question to you, all the immigrants that's moved in there, have they ever paid tax?
No. They get
a lot. Do they get free boarding?
So they get food? And that kind of tells me who did the thing the other day then. It kind of tells me what type of people did the thing against me the other day. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw in Liverpool, there was a big protest today.
No.
Very, very awesome. I was watching it live. It was like, I think it was over 4K watching that stream at one stage. And it was very funny. You're seeing this little amount of people for Palestine. Okay, but they're getting very aggravated and kind of, what they do, triggered and pushing and trying to. And like the rest, you could swear it's the rest of Liverpool standing there, walking them out of their way. And what I loved about it was most of them were chanting, Christ is King. This is a Christian country. And I really had to admire that. It was quite good. And then how offended the Palestinian so-called people were getting when they said, well, we love bacon. It's like...
What does that have to do with anything? We love bacon.
Someone literally got arrested yesterday because a migrant got offended that the guy said he eats bacon.
Oh, man.
He got arrested for it.
That's
because
weird.
The migrant was offended. Yeah.
That's
how bad it's going in the UK at the moment, guys.
And I mean, I don't know what Wesley does for a career. I don't know whether he works or not. But why is he taking so much interest in what I get? I have no idea what he does, and I don't care. So why do you care what I get and what I do?
Have you not realized we get some, kind of weird stalkers in our lives? for some odd reason.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, like as soon he's gonna try and wonder what underwear you're wearing, you know?
Yeah. I don't give a crap if he got money off the government. I don't give a crap if he works. You know, why is he giving a crap what happens to me? I've got a reason for my situation. Okay? Simple as that. Simple as that.
Oh.
And you already know it. So I don't need to keep going on.
Yeah.
Oh, in the latest news, Austria has complied to Sharia law.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
I'm scratching my head now.
Austria,
Really?
of all people. Of all the countries, Austria has now complied to Sharia law.
Oh my.
I knew there was something wrong in the world today when I woke up. There you go.
So it's gonna get rough, guys. Gonna get very rough everywhere right now.
Well, if they come for me, I'm prepared for it. You know, if they pass Sharia law here, they come knocking at my door.
The problem is it's everywhere at the moment. Canada's like literally on the lines of that at the moment. France is very close. Australia is also quite close to that at the moment. Heck, yeah, even South Africa. We've had a new political party, fully Islamist jihadists. How the hell do you become a political party of jihadist Islamists?
Okay.
Speaking of Australia, in next month. By next month, sometime next month, we will recognize Palestine as a state.
Do you think Palestine's going to be there in a month?
Well,
That's a good question.
I guess it depends on
Do you
what
know the
happens.
Gaza? Do you know that the Palestinian people don't like Hamas?
What's Hamas?
Well, it's a
Hamas
terrorist
is the
organization.
government, the so-called government of Gaza. They're the ones that's literally causing all this war right now.
They won't allow aid to go to the people. That's bad in my book.
They're literally
one.
not feeding their own people. They're starving their own people, killing their own people, making propaganda through their own people. And, well, the Gazans are starting to talk out about it. Why? Because they are Islamist jihadists. They are terrorists. They care about nothing else than being martyred for this so they can go to heaven.
That's how you get there. I don't think that's how you get to heaven. That's my personal.
So all we can really do is pray for the people, because the unfortunate truth is the innocent people in Palestine and the Israelites are all in the middle of this because of extremists. That's it. Just because of extremists. And it's not going to stop there, guys. They've been infiltrating everybody else's government in the West, everywhere else. And they're taking it by force through the political side of things. Hence why Austria is now Sharia compliant. The rest of the countries will probably be Sharia compliant too. Probably, they said, I think, if it goes the way it goes now, by 2050, there will be no more Christians or Jews alive. It'll just be Islamic caliphate, and if you refuse to accept it, you will be beheaded. Or, yeah, that's it. Accept or die, like the Bible says. Oh, how that works.
Yeah.
So today is the time to fight against Islamization, guys. It's not a time to feel, oh, I don't want to offend them. They don't give a shit about your offense. They literally just want you dead. That's it. It's plain and simple. It's the truth.
No.
If you don't like it, not my problem.
don't
I'm not going to sit
understand why
around and just say, oh, I don't want to offend anybody. They offend me by telling me that I am the worst of all creatures. They offend me by telling me my God is not God. They offend me by telling me they're allowed to rape my children. Okay. They offend me by telling me they're allowed to kill me because I don't want to take their beliefs. So if you get offended by this, that's not my problem. Then you are literally asking for this. You are literally asking, if you are part of the LGBTQ community, to get thrown off buildings. If you're a woman, allowed to get raped and have no rights. If you're a man, to either accept the Islamic Sharia law compliant idiotic religion, or die. Just why? Because you don't want to offend them?
Yeah.
I'm not trying not to offend anybody personally. I don't care if you're offended or not.
Wesley, what would Jesus do? Jesus would do exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah. And
taking the bull on by the horns.
You can see the supporters as well in social media. Ricky sees it all over the place, TikTok and that, about what they're saying, like, we're coming over there and we're taking over your country. They're saying things like we're going to grape your women and stuff like that.
They say it straight out.
Yeah.
You can go read Hamas charter. They literally say they want to wipe out Christians and Jews.
Vicky read it today, actually. She was telling me about it.
Yeah. Go read their charter, guys. The people that are fighting for Hamas literally don't know what they're fighting for.
And when it comes down to it, it's like there's going to be some offense involved, especially when readers of the Quran, when they compare it to the Bible, are going to find out our religion has been a lie all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be some offense inherently.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're a bit off topic. Let's get back to the topic.
I've just historically seen it not work out well. And one of the things I wanted to put to bed for Christians was what Christian Zionism actually is and what the Bible actually says about it. But you actually posed a really good starting place right before that. And that's kind of the crux of the whole issue, is that does Israel actually protect Jews, or having the modern state of Israel, or does that put them at more risk? And is that why people are mad? So what was your thinking with that, Andrew? And tell me what your opinions are.
Well, I did a debate with a pretty well-known Christian apologist. Now Christian apologist. He's converting over to Orthodoxy, I guess, at some point. Catechumen now, where we did this debate on Christian Zionism and went through all of this. So the first thing to point out is the reason that you have so much trouble having this conversation at all is because of organizations like Kufi, which have their tendrils in everything, trying to make sure that all Protestant...
Isn't that part of Hagee? I think Hagee runs Kufi or something.
No idea.
I don't trust Hagee whatsoever, just to let you know.
Apologetics revolve around the Ted Cruz framing there. The Ted Cruz framing being that Christians have this kind of moral ought to support the modern state of Israel, when in fact we don't.
Gotcha.
Now,
so tell people the Kufi, that's John Hagee, right? That's his organization that he leads.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Kufi. Told
Kufi.
You, John Hagee. No. You see, the thing is, what they do is they how can I put it? They're politicizing the word of God, if you haven't realized that. They're making everything political. The state of Israel, you're supporting the state. No, we're supporting what the Bible says about God's chosen people, the Israelites. That's it. We don't support the state of Israel, the government of Israel. There's a lot of things that they do which you don't agree with. Again, no government we 100% agree with. Cheers, Luca. Thanks for coming, man.
Bye.
Much better.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And well, the church down the street from me, it's like, I mean, they do support the state of Israel, like no matter what.
Yeah, that's a bit.
Like, and they're not even willing to hear you out on anything.
But that's what I'm saying. It's always
even construed. You have something negative to say.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's always an extreme and an extreme on both sides.
Yeah. Right.
People have to start looking at like being centered between, but following what the word says.
Of course.
That's what I'm trying to say. Because yes, you obviously get people that are steadfast, almost worshipping the Israeli government. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's like,
and that's not right. That's not right.
Agreed.
CUFI has more members, I believe, than Israel has people in it.
It's true.
So
it's true. I think it's over 10 million people.
Yeah, over 10 million.
Yeah.
And this sort of theology, there's lots of paychecks which are switching hands. You can find out a lot about CUFI. Anybody who wants resources on it, you can just DM me. We'll send it over. There's a whole lot of bad news going on with CUFI, but that's its own kind of rabbit hole to dive into.
Correct, yeah.
And I would rather stay on the idea, I think, where this begins is with eschatology. Now, Gerald and I kind of have a fundamental disagreement here. But I guess before we dive into that, why do you think eschatology is not kind of the crux? Because now you got me curious.
I do. You're going to bring it back. So I think there's just a fundamental misunderstanding from the views that I have seen. So I, as a Christian, don't believe that what she said, Mother, is it Agape? I don't want to mispronounce it. Be insensitive.
Did you guys see that? That nun that spoke to Colson, whatever, that looks like a man?
I did not see that. No.
Wow, that is not a nun's. It's not a nun's.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, the thing is that nun that looks like a man, that even sounds like a man, is claiming not even to be Christian, apparently, but claiming Islam is a religion of peace. How can you be a nun and claim such idiocy?
Yeah.
Well, it's like an LGBTQ pastor claiming that they speak for God with the Bible.
Exactly.
Like, no, you don't.
Yeah, I think I've got some of that tonight, actually, on my stream, on the video I'm showing.
Yeah, I believe.
Agapia. Okay. Right. What she said was completely accurate. She was asked a question.
She's a nun, man. She'll forgive you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. I might say something where she's like, I'm not going to forgive you. That's, I'm not going to hold it. I'm not going to send, but I'm also not going to forgive you, or I'm going to do it in private, so you'll never know. No, what I'm saying is that she was asked a question about the harpazo, the rapture. And so I then heard her pivot to the millennial kingdom, and I was like, well, hold on. Those two things are not connected necessarily. They don't have to be connected. They're around the same time frame. They are eschatology, but you can believe in no rapture.
I just want to point out, guys, please stop going and simping for Duffy's show on my show.
What?
Okay, you don't have to advertise for that deceiver snake on my show.
What, they're putting his link?
They literally come into my chat to say Duffy's live now. We don't give a damn if Duffy's live. Okay? This channel has got nothing to do. I do not endorse Duffy at all. The guy is a fraud. He's been shown a fraud. He's been shown a deceiver. I want nothing to do with the guy.
If you want to see Duffy, go Roger's channel.
Yeah, go watch it at somewhere else. My channel is not a channel to push someone's deceptive channel. Thank you very much. Let's carry on.
At all, and still believe in the millennial kingdom, right? So I didn't understand why she pivoted. So one, I was like, well, that seems like a weird
she was asked a specific
answer.
Question about where this comes from, and she points out Darby.
Well, she went to Darby after she went to the millennial kingdom, and that being a heresy in the early church. And I know that was said a heresy in like the 3-somethings at one of the councils. And so I thought, like, okay, well, I understand where that come from, like dispensationalism, right? So you start to see Israel in a different light. But I thought, like, that's not necessarily why Christians support Israel, because a lot of times they point back to Genesis 12:3, and it's completely disconnected from their eschatological views, right? But I understand
but not really. But not really. Let me walk you through it, at least from the logical basis. Yeah. This was the argument that I presented, primary argument against Christian Zionism. Would you agree with me that any
because Messiah, if I do, I'm screwed. I have no idea what you're about to say.
Well, would you agree with me that any Messiah which is named by Israel to be a new Messiah is going to be in the spirit of Antichrist?
Yes, because that's the Bible. It's the Bible.
Of course.
Remember, they are waiting for the Messiah to come. They rejected Jesus as the Messiah. They believe the Messiah is going to bring peace. They believe the Messiah is going to build the temple. So yes, if you're a Christian, it's the Antichrist.
Yeah. Hence why they need Christ more than ever.
Yeah, exactly. But we also have to point out that doesn't mean that all the Israelites even agree with that.
Hmm.
It also doesn't take the fact away that they're still God's chosen people. If you read
Agreed.
Romans 11, it says how they were blinded, how they're going to be grafted back in to the tree.
Yeah. I mean, God doesn't make promises and doesn't keep them.
Yeah, and God made an everlasting covenant with Abraham in Genesis.
Yes, he did.
And he made an everlasting covenant with possession of the land to Israel. It's everlasting. It's not time. It's everlasting possession, everlasting covenant. So I find it really odd that people are trying to claim that no, God can just go against his word. Because they're literally trying to make God out to be a liar then.
And it may be
It would be Antichrist, yeah.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
good.
I was going to say, it may be controversial, but it's like the Canaanites, right? Way back in the day, it's like that was never their land. They were merely people who moved into the land.
Right.
It wasn't theirs.
Even the Canaanites, yeah, they came from different parts. But the thing is, what happened is the Palestinians, it's actually quite sad, they want to claim they come from like the Philistines, which they have no related relation to at all. The Philistines came from Crete. It was a Greek island. Okay, and they came there after the Israelites were already there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, has anybody ever heard of the story of David and Goliath?
Yeah, I was going to say he was a Philistine, Goliath.
Yeah, Goliath was a Philistine. He was a large giant in the land, but they came from the seas. They were called the people of the seas. That's literally what Philistines mean, people of the seas.
Mm-hmm.
So
no,
it's sad
the point is, it wasn't their land.
God gave Abraham the land of Canaan.
Yeah, and when Pig Slapper was saying about that being like the devil, like tempting Christ with lands and kingdoms, that's different. That God can give you something as a gift because there you go. But then there's a thing where the devil tempts you with materialistic stuff. God wasn't tempting; He was gifting. Here you go, not tempting people with it. Oh, I'll give you kingdoms and riches and all that. No, it was gifted.
Even my wife was like to me this morning, why do I let him talk?
Yeah.
Like, that guy is just, it was painful.
It was.
Oh, and by the way, Greg is now writing all of his page that he exposed us as being Satanists.
When he claims Jesus is Satan.
Exactly. That's my response to him too.
Yeah, Jesus is Lucifer because of the light bearing thing.
And no, he's just exposing himself as being bat crap crazy again.
It's quite bad.
He's very mad. He's a madman.
He needs prayer, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
It would be Antichrist.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Antichrist, but in the spirit of Antichrist.
Lowercase Antichrist, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And is going to have to denounce Jesus as being a false Messiah.
Prophet, yeah.
Which pits them immediately against all of Christendom. Yes?
For sure.
All of them. Yeah. All Protestants.
There is no debate.
No debate there. Yeah. Even the Mormons, even the JWs, all of them, right? All of them are going to be like, okay.
Everybody would be pissed off universally. It's a unifying thing.
Yes, everyone's going to be upset. That's going to be the spirit of Antichrist. So then why would a Christian Zionist who knows that and knows that the Temple Institute there and Kufi are moving towards naming Messiah? Can explain?
Maybe because the Bible says it will happen whether you do anything about it or not. It's a prophecy.
It doesn't mean we agree with it or on board with it, but yeah, it'll happen.
It still doesn't explain hate for a people.
Yeah, it's not justification.
No.
That's not justification for a hate of a people just because you understand that they will bring the Antichrist in. The Bible prophesies it will happen. So whether you agree with it or not, or whether you want to, how can I say, make justification saying, well, we shouldn't support them because they're going to bring the Antichrist in, is not really anything other than, well, you don't want God's word to be fulfilled. Is that it? Think about it. God has his own timing to when a prophecy has to be fulfilled. Whether you're going to take part in that prophecy fulfillment or not, it will happen. God just will use someone else. Now, if you are supporting Israel and this Antichrist comes through this, what has it got to do with you anyway? You're just supporting, when it comes to Zionism, the right for the people to live. Because at the moment, Israel is very hated by most of the world for absolutely nothing. It's quite disgusting, actually. And I find it really disgusting that Christians hate them just because they're Jews. And by the way, many people in Israel are not Jewish. Some of them are Muslim. Some of them are atheists. Some of them are Christians. But yet, the whole of Israel is hated. Does that make sense?
No.
No, it doesn't make sense, but yeah, it makes sense what you said, yeah.
That to me.
So my critique, and I saw that, I don't see that in their documents. So the Temple Institute has a spokesperson in 2010 that did say that they are looking to do that, not as something that they are have to do. So here's my understanding of it, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
They get millions and millions of dollars.
They get millions of dollars, but not to name a Messiah. So that's where I disagree with you. I think the Jews are still looking for Messiah. That doesn't mean that they're looking to name him immediately. And here's my proof for that.
You also have to understand the Jews have a very specific belief. They believe that, as far as I understand, that the world will only be around, well, the people will only be around for 6,000 years or something. And apparently there's only like 250 years left before that 6,000 years lifespan is up. So they really believe that the Antichrist will come in that time span. Because they believe when that time span comes, I think it will be a new era or something. That's as far as I remember what they say. But again, if we support God's chosen people, it's got nothing to do with supporting the Antichrist.
No.
Well,
we understand the Antichrist has to come.
That's who we are on guard for.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
And really, like the Jewish, they've got fall for it. We should be warning them. I mean, they need Christ. Simple.
Exactly. It's very simple.
They've had many people come forward over the years and say, I'm Messiah. They've not run open arms to him, including the guy that actually fulfilled all the prophecies. And I'm like, okay, I don't think that they're ready to do it.
So they're just moving towards the spirit of Antichrist.
No, I think they're moving towards creating a temple. But see, I think this is where it starts to get
Yeah, they're moving towards building a temple because they believe the Messiah is going to give them peace through the temple. They believe the Messiah is going to help them build the temple. That's what they believe. Remember, their belief system is the Messiah is the peace giver and helper of building the temple. Where we as Christians understand that Messiah they believe in is the Antichrist. It's a false Messiah. And many of the Jews will get to Jesus through this event. Now, again, does that mean we should or should not support Israel? No. The prophecy is going to be fulfilled whether you want to support them or not. They don't actually care if you support them or not. They're still going to go ahead and carry out what they believe in. Us as Christians should be supporting what the Bible said, and the Bible tells us to support God's chosen people. It's very simple.
a little muddy, because I agree with you that if they named Messiah, That would be a problem.
Yeah, but what's the purpose of building the temple, right?
It doesn't have anything to do with the Messiah. To them,
it does.
Not
it
to
does.
them.
What about us? What about Christians?
Christians, yes, but we already know who the Messiah is, and so that's their problem to deal with God.
Right,
I don't care if they have a temple or not. They're still
within our
not
theology,
saved.
this is a sign of what?
The end time.
The temple?
The third temple being rebuilt, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What is that a sign of?
It's really irrelevant to Christians, right? It doesn't affect how.
No. Okay. So I want you to look at this in totality.
Okay.
So, and why I think that this has to do with eschatology. See, I believe that Christian Zionists and all Christian Zionists are accelerationists. They're trying to accelerate their eschatology. They're trying to accelerate.
So they're trying to
revelation.
Hasten the coming of.
Yes, they're trying to hasten.
The second coming.
The reason if you ask them, why is it that you want to move?
I disagree with that. How does supporting Israel, for instance, against Hamas, accelerate the third temple's building? How does that accelerate the third temple's building by standing with Israel against a terrorist organization called Hamas? That's literally a non sequitur. It's got nothing to do with one another. I don't see any Christians going around trying to build the third temple. No, you're leaving it for the Jews to do that. That's what they believe, not what the Christians believe. Because we know when that does happen, the Antichrist will come, the mark of the beast will come, there'll be great tribulation, and, well, many people are going to lose their lives. That's why what you should be concentrating on is, are you right with God? Not, am I afraid for the great tribulation?
Right.
And I have to agree, Keith. I am not interested in hastening the time.
No, it's got nothing to do with it.
Right.
And I think that's more like a cop-out, trying to make a straw man argument. So I definitely don't agree with what Wilson is saying there.
I agree.
Towards naming Antichrist. Why is it that you want to support people who are moving towards the naming of Antichrist? Now, you can say, wait a second, Andrew, they're not naming one right now. So what? The entire religion and the entire state and all of the religious Jews are still moving that direction. They're not moving towards Christ. They're moving towards Antichrist. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, why would we support that? Well, what all Christian Zionists claim is that that's part of biblical prophecy for Christians. That stuff needs to come to pass in order for the events in Revelation to take place. Yes. And so what they're doing is they're trying to accelerate what you would consider Armageddon and the end times, right?
So I would disagree.
How is it? How?
No, but how do you accelerate that? But just by supporting, it's not accelerating. If it's got to happen, it's got to happen.
It's going to happen whether you support it or not.
I mean, there is certain Christians out there that they think they have to fulfill prophecy by hurrying things on themselves, which is bull.
How are they specifically going to hurry on the third temple build?
Right.
No, yeah, that's not the case.
I want to point out, supporting Israel is actually not hastening it because it's showing no peace in the Middle East. This is actually causing more division in the Middle East. So what the hell is this guy talking about? It seems more to me the people that are trying to accelerate this are the Christians trying to say, hey, let's have peace. Because when peace comes is when the temple will be built. That's what the Bible says.
So how is it not related to eschatology?
So I would disagree with. So first, let me split these things into just to two pieces. One is the accelerationists and those who are not. I grew up in this church and I've never heard that before in my life, ever, not one time. I know it exists though, so I'm not saying that it doesn't. But what I'm saying is, I don't know if there, and maybe you might have some statistics on this, but who of the Christian Zionists, who would be accelerationists and who wouldn't be? right? Because for me, when I define Christian Zionism, and we can get down into that, I think I have a segment on that here in just a minute.
What other reason could they give?
So
like, what other reason
it's not saying that. So I'll give you the reason that I would give in my current view of eschatology. The temple exists in my view of eschatology. The Jews rebuild the temple. There's a peace treaty with Israel. The Jews rebuild the temple. There's the abomination that causes desolation.
Here's the keyword: peace treaty. Now, people that are supporting Israel are going against the so-called peace treaty at the moment. The ones that are trying to accelerate are the ones that saying, hey, guys, let's have peace. You understand that? It's kind of counterintuitive. Telling the people that supporting Israel, well, you guys are trying to support this peace. Everybody wants peace. Whether you're for the other team or not. Nobody wants war. Nobody wants people to suffer. But that's not accelerating anything. Just because you support God's chosen people doesn't accelerate anything. God will still have the prophecy being fulfilled whether you support or not. God made an everlasting covenant with the Israelites. He made an everlasting covenant that they can possess the land of Israel. And it's been fulfilled as you've been seeing through the Bible. Now, you don't have to accept it. God's prophecies doesn't care about your opinion. It will always take place because he's God. Simple as that.
And I dare say there are those who want to hasten God's timing. If you guys remember the lockdowns, how many corporations were so willing and ready to lock everyone up and put on your mask.
But that's also the thing that people have to understand.
What spirit are they of? And were they trying to hasten things? The answer is yes. And they're not of God's
They're also
spirit.
trying to see how compliant you are.
Well, it doesn't really matter where we're at. It matters where they are.
But I mean, look what's going on. The people that are accepting that was true, are the same people that's literally falling for let Sharia law take over in all the countries.
Right.
Correct. And it's like, that's why I have arguments against the British government. Like, they're just letting immigrants in droves while ignoring the native population.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. I was watching a Canadian stream yesterday, I think. The guy's just walking on the street and there's like this Palestinian protest there or something for migrants. And they're literally like trying to beat him up just by walking in the street while he's streaming. He's a Canadian citizen. Those people are not even citizens there. And they're pushing him around the place and swearing at him and going crazy. And the police are telling him just to leave. It's like, what? The guy's walking in the street where he grew up.
Basically minding his own business.
Yeah. So it's
terrible.
It's insane.
Literally.
It is in the temple, okay? Yeah. I don't think it is my job or Christian's job, and the Bible doesn't give any indication that we are supposed to help hasten that at all. It just is.
Agreed.
That's the view of most people.
But then what's the purpose of supporting a land which is moving? So if the idea here is God's blessing Israel. This is what Ted Cruz is saying, right? God's blessing Israel and blessing the people who bless Israel. Right, but he's just...
But the Bible does say that. God will bless the nations who bless Israel.
Yeah.
The Bible does say that.
And, well, I mean, I've had to look into that pretty deeply. And it's like, blessed are those who bless you, Israel. And he's talking about a person and his descendants, right?
The seed.
The seed.
Yeah, not the state of Israel.
Not the state. And right, no, I've seen so many people who use that verse as a means to bless the state.
Exactly. And I don't agree with that. Yeah.
Like, I can't go that far. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When the people say there's no real Jews in Israel,
No.
That's just total nonsense. Okay?
It is.
You guys cannot just blame the Israelites who actually are Israelites that live in Israel because of the government. We don't support the government. We support God's chosen people, the Israelites who live in Israel.
Agreed.
And God tells you, if you bless my people, you'll be blessed. Yes, by supporting the chosen people, you are blessed. Does that mean you're blessed materially or anything? No, it doesn't say. It can even be a spiritual blessing. It's weird how people want to make it seem that you are. This is why I say that they turn this into a political thing. You guys are just, you are supporting the state of Israel, the evil Jews who run this world. You guys are now Jesuits. No, man.
Spokesman for a lot of people with this view.
Well,
God's blessing you because you bless Israel. Okay, but why are we supporting Israel if they're moving towards Antichrist, meaning moving away from Christ instead of towards Christ? I don't understand. Why would we do that? What would Ted Cruz's response be? We as Christians are moving towards that, right? Because that's what God commands us to do, and that's going to lead to the events in Revelation. That's going to lead to these events as far as eschatology goes. But that's that's the only logical way it can go. What other reason would they have for doing it?
Well, no, they would think. I think Genesis 12:3. If you misinterpret Genesis 12:3 to think that you are supposed to bless the current nation state of Israel, including its government, which I think is very troubling, that people would think that necessarily. That in and of itself is enough. Like, you don't have to have any other cause to support Israel.
Why are you supposed?
Because God commanded you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens.
Why did God command you to?
Doesn't matter. He just said it.
Why did God command you? Why? Exactly. Doesn't matter. God tells you to do something, you do it. Why do you think Moses didn't enter the promised land? Because God told him to do something and he didn't do what God told him to do. And he got judged for it. Hence why he was able to go and see the promised land but not enter it. Remember when God told him to pray that the water comes out and he struck the rock in Moab? God cursed him for that because he did opposite of what God told him to do. There are consequences for disobeying God. So why would you worry why God tells you to bless his seed? Why do you worry to why God would say bless the chosen? Do it because God told you to do it. That's it. Just do it because God told you to do it. Why must you worry why?
True.
He's God.
But I think it does matter. Hold on, but does baptism save me? There are verses that make it seem like it does. There are verses that seem like it doesn't. You know what? I don't care. You know why? Because Jesus commanded me to do it. Therefore, I am going to.
There we go.
Same thing here.
I really like this guy, actually.
Absolutely. Straightforward. Absolutely.
I like this guy.
Why does it seem like he watches our streams?
We seem kind of on the right wavelength here. Really like this guy. And this is the first time I've heard this Gerald Morgan talk, actually. I've never heard of him before.
If they believe God is commanding me to bless Israel, I will bless them. It doesn't matter what that results in.
Sorry?
He's usually on with Lido with Crowder. He usually sits at the side and talks to Stephen Crowder, doesn't he? He's not usually the main.
Yeah, but I've never. This is the first debate I've seen him do. That's
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, me too.
I've never watched him really engage.
No.
It just matters that God told me to do it. I think 12:3 is enough, but I understand that there's
I understand that you can. So I'm trying to follow this logical step one, right? Mm-hmm. Premise one. God wants us to bless Israel from their view, right?
Yeah.
And Israel, according to Ted Cruz, is who? the modern nation state, modern government, he went ahead and acquiesced all those points. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So he's saying God wants us to bless this current nation right this second.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? I can only assume that blessings mean support, whatever they need.
I don't think he could answer that, by the way. That's
I don't think any of them can.
No,
right? Yeah. But I think that we can kind of make some inferences here, which are rational. Blessing them probably doesn't mean like leaving them at the mercy of their enemies and things like that, right? Blessing
defending them against attack and stuff like that.
Something like that. Yeah. That makes sense to me. That would be the inferences that I would make there, and I think most people would make there. So what?
I agree with Wilson there. I've got nothing against that.
No.
Yep.
You're really saying is that God doesn't just want us to bless them, but to defend them, right? To assist them, to do all of these various things, to move our power structure towards being in obedience and compliance with their power structure. That's what.
Nah, I don't agree with what he's saying there. Because what are the fruits of obedience? If you're blessing them, you're going to help them. Remember, America has the ability to help. Okay? And their heart is to bless and to help. So why would you not help them? Because they are under threat for being genocided by, well, everybody around them. Why would you have a problem with them being able to defend and help Israel when their heart is to bless Israel? It's almost like saying, well, I give to this charity, but I'm not going to help them give the food out because I've just given them money. No, because if you really want to help, you will probably go and help dispatches as well. Because your heart is to help and bless. It's sort of like, to me, that Wilson's playing a political game here. Trying to make it sound like, well, America, don't defend Israel militarily because you guys don't need to do that. You're using our taxpayers' money, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Great. It's, again, making it a more of a political thing. This has got to do with the spiritual thing, and the spiritual thing is, if you keep with what the scripture says, that's what America's really doing. So what?
It essentially means by blessing them.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know that they believe that fully, but I'm trying to figure it out because I don't think this is part of the problem. I don't think it's very well defined on their side. I don't think they could very well tell you, like, okay, well, I can come to you right now and tell you need to give money to the Temple Institute. They wouldn't be able to refute that.
But if Ted Cruz is sitting there saying we need to give a bunch of money to these guys, we need to assist them in any way possible, how is it? I mean, how is that idea of blessing not moving into compliance with the wills of Israel? Who gets to determine how they're blessed? Right? I think that it's going to be Israel who gets to be the determiner under Christian Zionism as to how they're blessed.
Maybe because the Bible does talk about what Christians' duty to bless. And we'll talk about Christian duties towards Israel here in just a minute. And I don't want to step on future topics in just a sec. But it does. Listen, I understand that line of thought. I think it is very rational, and I think it makes sense. But I don't think it's necessary. I don't think that's where people are right now. I don't think people are thinking like I have to align the power structure in the United States with Israel to be able to bless the people of Israel. I think most people would think, well, if I give money to the support of Israel, just to the general fund or something like that, or if we help them militarily, if they get attacked by other countries, and some people would even say the $3 billion a year is part of what we should do. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think we should probably pull almost all of that, if not all of it back, and from all of their enemies that we're supporting as well. That'd be great. Keep that money home. But that's part of my problem is that these things to me are disconnected. They're not necessarily flowing into each other just because they support Israel because of genocide. Well, but I don't think we've made that case yet. I think.
Well, here, let me try to make a better case. Yeah. So, okay. Do you agree with me that basically every 6 months, Benjamin Netanyahu gives a big speech somewhere about how all the Jews in Israel are on the verge of annihilation?
There is that tendency, yes.
Yes, baby.
Maybe because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Ever maybe thought of that? You do know Israel is literally just like smack in the middle, surrounded by all countries that want them annihilated, that literally call for the death of Israel. They call for the death of the Jews. Have you ever thought of that, Owen? Wilson?
I said
Andrew
that. I
Wilson.
said that earlier.
Andrew. We were talking about Owen Benjamin earlier.
Yeah. I did.
Andrew Wilson. I mean, it's. Is he saying that Benjamin Netanyahu is lying now? No, he's telling the truth. Because that's what's happening. They want to annihilate, literally, that's what it is, annihilate the Jews from the face of the earth. They don't want them to exist. Oh, and by the way, that includes Christians too. The Jews are just priority number one at the moment. If they get finished with them, we're next on their list.
Basically, every 6 months, they're always on the verge. Iran's about to nuke them. They're about to get invaded. Yeah. Somebody's about to destroy Israel every 6 months, right? What is he banking on there with that? What is Kufi banking on there by playing these speeches? Money. Right, money. They want money to flow in, things like this to flow in.
Well, money kind of helps you defend yourself. You know, you kind of need weapons and... I don't know, cash flow to be able to take care of things militarily. You don't get stuff for free, do you?
No.
So he has an issue with, for instance, America supporting Israel financially. I think that's wrong. I think that's a wrong way to look at it as being a Christian.
Definitely.
Because if you're a Christian and you care about someone's livelihood, you're not going to care about the money.
No.
You're going to do everything in your power to protect them, to keep them alive. And if you look at all, like I said, all the governments around them, that's literally in their charters and what they proclaim in the streets. They're not keeping it quiet. They're literally open about it. They want to annihilate Israel. Simple as that. I find it really disturbing, though, that these same Christians that have an issue with this are not talking about all the starving people in Yemen, all the Christians being beheaded constantly in the Congo, everybody around the world, Christians being persecuted and killed daily. Thousands. Okay? It's not like one or two. It's like hundreds to thousands of Christians a day are getting killed for Christian faith. But I don't see any of these people having issues with that, calling that out. But yet they want to moan and defend a terrorist organization that literally is open about killing Christians and Jews. I don't get it.
I agree. It's like, where's their bleeding heart for the other Christians in Africa or India, Pakistan even, who get killed for their faith? Where's their bleeding heart for them?
I don't get it. To me, it's kind of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
In military aid to flow in. The idea here is you're not blessing Israel if you're not participating with Israel. You see, they're almost about to be annihilated.
Yeah, but you can't point to scripture.
They were almost about to be annihilated last week and the week before. It doesn't. None of this is scriptural. It's all indoctrination.
And we're talking about Christians. This sucks.
Yes, I know, but none of it's scriptural. But it's all indoctrination. But
Scriptural. What's he talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about. I mean,
he's
when
saying
I read through the Bible,
of Israel is
I
not
had an
scriptural.
understanding, and I was not indoctrinated by any man at all.
No. What's up, Jaden? How's it going?
Hey, bro.
Hey, what's up, boys? How's it going?
Hey. Good to see you, Jaden.
Thomas, he's telling us the debate by Duffy is really garbage.
Yeah.
It's
I haven't even watched that either. I have no idea.
I thought it was going to be. It's a desperation. It's literally just a desperation ploy to try and make more money. It's simple as that.
The guy he's debating, I believe they're blind, man. I don't believe he's a real flat earther.
Well, he's not a real Christian.
Look at this. This is exactly what I'm saying. Mac, he's supposed to be a Christian. Keith is a deceiver. Islam doesn't have any power to do anything. Zionism has the power. The Zionist Star of David is on the US dollar, which is the world's reserve currency, the control of the world. Oh my word. Talk about conspiracy theorist. Mac, have you ever read the Islamic charters before? Have you read what Islam openly declares that they want to dominate the world, subjugate everybody, unalive anybody who doesn't stick to their Sharia compliant laws? The Western countries at the moment are literally going Sharia compliant. Just like today, Austria signed over and accepted Sharia compliant law. So that means in Austria, if you're going to be a Christian, you better get out of there, because if you don't abide by the Sharia law, by law they are allowed to. By law.
Mm.
That's what Sharia compliance about.
And it's like saying that Satan doesn't have any power. Like, yes, he does, especially when he entered into Judas to betray Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Wow. Okay.
The thing is when Ted Cruz says bless Israel, he does mean that. He does mean if we need to send troops against our enemies, we will. If we need to send missile defense systems, we will. If we need to send treasure and blood, we'll send that too.
Oh, Mac again. Have you read the no-hide laws? The no-hide laws aren't in practice. There aren't any no-hide laws anywhere, not even in Israel.
Well, it's like I have read them, but have I been guillotined yet for the name of Jesus?
No.
No.
How many Christians daily get for not reciting Allah? A lot. Hundreds to thousands a day get slaughtered for not taking the shahad. Okay? Literally, these people have such a hatred towards Jews, thinking that small little population. Do you guys literally know how small population the Jews of the world are? They're literally a pinprick, and they're the ones running everything. Okay, keep telling yourself that.
But that's what he's saying.
Yeah, so I agree with all that, and that makes sense to me, right? My thing is that I think Ted could base his entire argument on his misunderstanding of Genesis, wherever it is, according to him. Somewhere in the Genesis, if you pull up the Googles, and anytime you use the in front of something, you're an idiot. But
the Genesis,
the Genesis or the Googles, right? Yeah, so I think he would point to that and be like, "That's it." And that's the kind of eschatology that I have heard of. It's not that the Christians need to do.
Vicky, actually, women can be sentenced to death for an ankle showing.
Yeah, madness.
Even if their hijab seems to just fall off their head by accident, they can get the death penalty.
Yeah.
And what's sad is you get so much of these feminist women trying to support Islam, where they don't understand it literally goes against what they stand for. Women in Islam have no rights. They don't even have half the rights of a man. A man can verbally divorce a woman. If he just says, I don't love you, no, I divorce you, that's it. If a woman wants to divorce a man, they have to go to a court.
Yeah.
And then they can decide if she is intelligent enough to have made that decision or not.
You ever see the true story, Not Without My Daughter? Awful. It's a true story. It's called Not Without My Daughter. It shows you what they're like. In marriage. In marriage.
Anything. That's almost like the view of Iran. Like they have this kind of apocalyptic eschatology where the conflict around the world globally will bring back the 12th Imam, right? So that's the beginning of their eschatological book. And people are like, well, you said they're a death cult. They're going to blow themselves up. I'm like, well, no, they don't. It's not.
Hey, Sam. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on? I see the podcast. I had to jump in. I had to jump in on that one.
Wait. Shalom. Because I am now a Zionist, so shalom.
I'm no Zionist either.
Well, I guess several of us are.
Shalom, shalom.
I want to ask you right out from a Mossad anti-Zionist Zionist. Are you guys running the world?
Mm-hmm. I tell you the thing. It's true that there are lots of Jews in American lobby. There are a lot of Jews, in corporations, in banks. That's for sure. But the thing is that you're never going to find an elite of people, including an entire population. Elites of people are always a small, tight group of people. It's never like an entire population. It's just if you believe that me and another like 20 million Jews are going to meet tonight, and discuss how to make your life miserable, you understand? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, what percentage of Jews are there in the world? I think you guys make up what, 5%?
No,
not even
1%. It's like
it's crazy.
Officially, the official Jews, let's put it like this. It's about like maybe maximum 20 million people, officially. And in that you must have like fake Jews and not people that wannabes.
Yeah.
So
that's my whole point.
Yeah.
Yes, you have some Jews in high positions and things.
Of course.
But heck, you have more Islamic pushers in higher positions than Jews alive.
Well, I tell you the way I see it. Lots of people don't like the idea to have like a Jewish lobby, in America and everything. I've been thinking about it. There is no Jewish lobby in North Korea, in Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
There are no Jews over there. So I don't care. If I was American, if I was living in a country where a Jewish lobby was like influencing or advising my government and everything, but if in the same time my country was the best country, the richest country, the most blessed in the world, maybe I would say, okay, if it was the Filipinos, Filipinos lobby, advising my government, actually, in my country was rich, so I will say, well, God bless, and don't believe that America is stupid. When they help Israel with billions, they get back like much more, because we invent all kinds of new technologies, that they receive right away, and
that's the thing. Israel is actually on the forefront when it comes to technology, especially militarily.
Not only this, you have to know something. Between the United States and Israel, all the how do you call that? The patents, the new inventions that are coming up every year, is like 50% Israel, 50% America. In America, it's like about 400 million people. In Israel, it's like 9 million. But half of the inventions that come out, from our two countries, like half of them is from us, and the other half from the States. So you understand, and and people don't even talk about the money that the America sends to Egypt, for example. It's like a few billions, like 3, 4, 5 billions a year, also. So nobody talks about this. So that's bullshit. I think if it's good for America that Jews are influencing or advising the government, so why not? What do you care? What do you care if it's Jews or papoose?
That's my point. Yeah. What does it?
I don't care.
Matter?
Now, if you believe it's not good, if you believe it's like we're using America for our own interest, of course we will. Are you crazy? Like America is going to use us for their own interest. Like everybody does that, but it doesn't go against the interests of each other. It's like everyone's gonna try to pull what's the best for him out of the deal. But this is normal. This is like I don't know. It makes sense to me. But anyways, in history, you're gonna see that all the countries that accepted the Jews and that made it good for the Jews were blessed, all of them. And the opposite for the other countries. All the countries that persecuted the Jews, they never finished.
Why do you think this is actually very funny? Why do you think all the Islamic countries that have been fighting you guys all this time don't get it right to annihilate you, and that's all they want?
Well, not really. The Arab countries never wanted to annihilate the Jews, even though
Islamists literally have it in their charter.
Well, actually, look, if they wanted to, there's like almost like 1 billion Arabs surrounding Israel. Why they don't just wage a war? Even if
They
they
are.
came
They're
like
trying.
barefoot, if they came barefoot without weapons, we couldn't kill all of them. They could just just come in and just like it happened.
But that's the thing. That's I was loving that we talked to that Saudi Arabian Christian the other day, because I do believe there are a lot of undercover Christians in those Islam countries,
Of course,
and they
there are.
cannot speak out because of the fear of dying. I mean, they're in Sharia compliant countries, so they'll obviously lose their lives.
Yes. That makes the Christians better Christians, when they are in a position where it's like they can have any rights. They're like very much very true Christians in the situation.
And that's why it's wise to say that, like, oh, not all the countries just want to wipe Israel out, because it's not true.
No, it's not true. First of all, the people that want to wipe Israel, they have to be very careful, because Israel is a very, very, very powerful country, military and strategically, and so that's the first thing that keeps them from trying to do so. But the other thing is that they don't have interest to wipe out Israel. They'd rather have a country like Israel in the Middle East, producing things, creating things and making doing business all over the place, and we're building a life. I don't know if you saw Israel like 60 years ago. It was a desert. It was a rock, nothing. Now go to the desert. You're gonna see like green spots all over the place, like trees, grass. It's like it's never happened in like 2,000 years. So I believe the Jews are good for the land and for the Arabs, and Arabs understand it here. Arabs work with us here. They have no problems. They fight.
Yeah, I
with
mean,
us.
even if you look at the Palestinians in Israel today, you have over 2 million Palestinians living in Israel and working in Israel with peace. So
And
that's
fight-
what I'm saying. It's really sad that they want to paint this kind of real big divide from Gazans and Israel, and saying Israel just wants to wipe them out. You guys are being so. No, it's Hamas that's causing propaganda. They're literally doing this to their own people. I can show so many interviews of Gazans, Palestinians literally talking out against Hamas, telling them how they hate them because they are persecuting them or they are starving them. They are shooting them. Their own people.
Everything that is being said about Israel, it's exactly what they do. Like
They want you to hear.
Believe me, I know it's going to be maybe hard for you to believe, because you're not being taught like this, but Israel actually is doing everything that is humanly possible to avoid any death of children, women, innocent people. They have technology, they have programs, they have EIs to detect, the civilians and the others. They have so much tools, and they spend so much money in order to avoid that, because that's the war. They want Israel to just shoot back and kill a baby, so they can show the baby on TV and say, oh, we baby killers. They're weaponizing their misery. They're creating misery. They keep those people in misery in order to weaponize that misery and use it against us. This is logical. And Arabs know that. Turkeys know that. Everybody. So they're gonna just speak and everything. They just condemn Israel, but they're not gonna move, because they know the game. It's a terrible game where the Palestinians have been taken hostage. You understand?
Yeah, but I mean, the hostages of Hamas are literally terrorists. Okay, they're in jail right now. The hostages from Israel are innocent people.
Wait. They're like, who's funding them?
Who's funding them?
Canada, England, France,
Australia,
big time. France is like it's
and
like
even the
blind
United
love
States,
with Arab.
aren't they?
What's that?
Even the United States in
special
some
interest
parts, yes.
groups.
No, well, it's being done by.
And why are they doing that?
But it's a war. It's a war against Israel.
Ideology.
Why? Check it out. I know it's going to be weird when they say that, but it's about the same thing with flat Earth. Why they spend so much money?
How are you able to make $75,000 a year, promoting propaganda for Palestine?
Yeah, but
for goodness sake, who paid you?
Well, the money comes from anywhere. He can come from anywhere. I believe it comes from the again, I'm always going to come back to the
I mean, no, it matters.
well, it does matter, but it's like when you say, where does the cocaine come from? In America, it's the same thing. You just go find out. We know it comes from Colombia, we know it comes from Mexico, but who does what and how and when, we don't know. We can find out.
What I can say for sure, it didn't come from God.
No, that kind of money doesn't come from God. But the game is on.
And so if you're on that bill, there's a serious issue.
Well, I tell you, the thing is, again, like I was going to tell you, if you understand why do those people, spend trillions of dollars to fight flat Earth, to create fake, false space missions and, Mars missions and all that, moon missions and all that, they're spending trillions in order to fool people. So if you understand that, you understand also who does the same thing in Gaza and why do they do it? It's the same war. I tell you why.
Yeah, it's a proper. It's a like I said, it's an ideology war.
Not an ideology.
It's a spiritual war.
Exactly. It's a war against God. So
and
now
goes across borders, it goes across nations.
Exactly. In the war against God, okay, you have to fight His nature. Make people believe He didn't build the world. Everything came out like this, with evolution, with a Big Bang and all that shit. That's first. But you cannot fight God and His creation without fighting the Torah and the Jewish people who are supposed to be the keepers of the Torah. So the war is extending always to the Jews. You cannot, make a war against God and then say, "Oh, the Jews are okay. The Torah is okay. I'm with you guys." You can't, because we're going to be standing here. Even the last one standing, to prove that they're wrong. So they have to destroy us. So they're corrupting us. They're infiltrating corruption in Israel. They're doing all kinds of, from everywhere. We're being attacked from everywhere. And what I realized with Flat Earth is that we have the same enemies. The people of Israel. I'm not talking about the state of Israel. I'm talking about the people of Israel, and the Flat Earth people are waging a war on two different fronts, but it's the same war. You understand? This is what's amazing, and this is what we have to understand. We have to identify these people that are that are using all these poor people there in order to fight us, just like they are using every means possible to fight God and to fight us from awakening, because the Jews also have to wake up. They're also like kind of sleeping. So it's the same. We have the same enemies. It's the same fight. Different fronts.
Yeah, I was trying to make a point is that you guys are being blamed for things because of propaganda. It's as simple as that. But let's get back to the debate actually, because it's quite interesting, the discussion they're having.
Well, if I may say one more thing, I'm sorry. It's like there are Jews in the U.S. who will throw Jews in the Middle East under the bus to fill their pockets.
There's always, that's what I say.
So it's like
you have Christians who disagree with Christians. You have Jews who disagree with Jews. You have Muslims who disagree with Muslims. You have atheists who disagree with atheists, and so forth. I mean, it's just how it works. Everybody has their own belief system and the way they see things. You always get the bad apples in something too. Just like you get the Islamic extremists in the Muslim belief system. Not all Muslims are the same. Like I said, I know quite a bit of Muslims that are loving. They're not that way. They will actually care about people. It's the same with Christians. You get extreme Christians who believe it's their right to be supreme over everybody. That's not what the Bible teaches, but that's what they believe. It's the same with Jews. You get factions of Jews who believe they should kill everybody and be the rulers, even other Jews who don't agree with them. It's just, unfortunately, you get the bad apples in every society. It doesn't make everybody bad.
The thing is, it's just like in flat Earth. It's like if a flat earther tells you, the Earth might be a globe, you know that he's not a flat earther. A Jew that tells you we have to kill everybody and dominate the world is not a Jew, because the Judaism, the Torah, the Jewish people has been built and engineered to pull out the people from slavery, to free them, to free their mind. That's the whole point. So they tell you, oh, we want to dominate. We don't want to dominate. Look at the land. We have like a little tiny piece of land and trying to survive there. That's all. But
no, it's because the Talmud, man. The Talmud.
Well, the Talmud, I tell you something. A lot of people, they're daring, trying to understand the Talmud that even the Jews and the rabbis don't understand. So in order to understand these books and these laws, you have, first of all, to learn in Hebrew, to read it in Hebrew or in Aramaic. And then you have to be very well, how can I say that?
I think they say it takes 7 years at a time just to go through it once.
Yeah, but it's not going through. What they do is just like reading. It's just
reading.
And that's it. That's all they do. Because they are keepers, you understand? They're not explainers. They're not like diggers. They're keepers of the truth. Those are the Jews. Those are just, security guards. That's all they are. So they're not made to explain things. Like I told you last time, people told me, oh, in the Talmud it's written that you can marry a 3-year-old girl and you can, so that's pedophilia, pedophilia. I say, you fucking crazy. So I explained to them that sometimes people in the wisdom of that law, that you can have a 3-year-old girl get married, is to have her promised to be married with another boy her age, and when they grow up, then they can be officially married. But this keeps them from being taken away or stolen or raped, because as soon as in the Jewish law, if a girl is like married or has promised to another man, so a man that's going to rape her, can be killed.
Yeah, but people also have to remember, when that laws came out, it was a different time back then. They had alliances with different families and things, and so different tribes.
Yes,
so they made these kind of deals, you can say. But when it comes to, for instance, Islam, there's a difference, because Muhammad consummated the marriage with Aisha when she was 9. He had sexual relations with her.
I don't know too many Jews, right? But I know like actual Muslims living in the Middle East that will not only not condemn PDF, they are one, and they're proud of it.
Yep.
I'll try to say this without saying anything like too graphic here, but I had a friend, right? And we ran a company in Egypt together as a cold calling business, so I kind of needed him on the Egyptian side. I couldn't do it without him. And one day he told me, hey man, I'm so happy. I just found out my dad is a PDF too. And he was like happy about it. He was so happy that his dad was a PDF, just like he is.
What is PDF?
And these guys are Muslims. I don't know any Jews doing that, man. I don't know any of them. I know a lot of propaganda saying they are, but that came from the horse's mouth. He's a Muslim in Egypt, and he supports that. That's all I needed to hear.
Excuse my ignorance, but what is a PDF besides like a software?
Like a PDF file. A PDF file. You know what I mean?
Muhammad was a PDF.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Aisha,
I don't want to say the word because
Aisha, 9 years old.
PDF. Okay,
PDF file.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. This is politically correct, you say.
You see, the thing is, that's the sad thing, because Islam, Muhammad's the code of conduct. They're supposed to look up to him. He's the perfect prophet. It teaches them to follow that moral code that he had. And, well, what does Muhammad teach?
Yeah.
Go visit Al-Zut at night. Go and sleep with as much women as you can. Yeah. And be a PDF file and murder anyone who doesn't agree with you.
Yeah, what it is, YouTube doesn't like, especially if you're monetized. If you say these words, they can demonetize you for it.
I understand.
Yeah, so I had to use code words there.
Since I'm not monetized, so that's,
Yeah.
But you're saying that
no
Muhammad
problem.
had no moral compass at all, basically. That's what you said.
No, he's the most moral man to have ever lived.
That's what they say.
Now, sometimes you have to also take in consideration that in I believe in the Arab world, just like in the Jewish world, because we have a lot of similarity in our religions. Sometimes when a woman is said to be like kid, like 9 years old or 10 years old, 12 years old, sometimes it might not refer to a real age, but to the time that she became or Muslim, or when she came into that land. Like for example, in the Torah, we have many examples of people changing names according to different situations, and then they change. They are called like it's like they were born again. So sometimes it is said that Rivka, Rebecca, I don't know how you call her, was also 3 years old. You understand? But it doesn't match with what. Yeah, Rebecca. But it doesn't match with what it said. It is said that she was like drawing waters from the well. You understand? So you have to understand this. Those are subtleties. Of the Hebrew text scriptures that we have to understand. So that's why before, in order to avoid to fall into like false conclusions, you have to investigate everything. Like for example, if you believe that Jewish people can marry 3-year-old girls, okay, that's fine with what you heard, but then you have to check it out. Do you have any examples of Jews today or in the past marrying 3-year-old girls, like small babies? You're never going to find that. So you have to reason.
It was the same when for instance, looked at Mary with Joseph. It's the same thing. Then they saw her like, oh, but she was a young girl, probably 13 years old. You know what I mean? But there was also the norms in the time where women would get married at younger ages because that was the fertile age. And people didn't live that long. I mean, the expectancy age was around, 30, 40 years old.
Well,
so
I tell you a secret. The thing is that the attraction for men to go with younger females in order to procreate, not talking about just like sex, but in order to build a house, to build a family, as some type of wisdom, because it is known that when you take a virgin, usually she's going to be more inclined, how do you say that, to bear a male. A male, yes. When the girl is young, she's gonna tend to give you like a male, like a firstborn male, and not a woman, or not a girl.
For procreation purposes, yeah.
It's also for creation purpose. It's not written in the scriptures. It's never going to be written. Oh, the guy went and took a piss, or the guy went and just like had sex with his mistress. We don't say it. It's not. Those books are not like
Well, that's also something that just popped in mind. The Quran teaches that semen comes from the backbone.
Wow.
What?
That's how scientific the Quran is.
That again,
semen comes from the backbone.
Well, that's not untrue. No, that's not untrue. I tell you, it's not. In Judaism, it is also taught like this. That in fact, it's very important among us when we mate with our wives to be careful of the thoughts that we have. Because when the seed is being built in the body, it starts with the mind. So it doesn't mean that the semen physically comes from here, but maybe the nerves or the system is made so all the data in the seed will depend on how we procreate, how we mate with our wives. For example, you're going to see that in India, okay, there are lots of people that castrate themselves and become like like not ladyboys, but like females and like transgenders. And I saw one time an interview, and they asked the guy, but how come you did that? At such a young age, you were like 12 years old. And the guy says, what I believe to be the truth. He says, "Oh, I always was attracted by men, even when I was a kid. When I was going to the theater, I love the the male actors and everything. So I felt like Elohim made me like this." Now, when you check the temples, there are temples in India called the temples of love. In those temples are carved all over the place on the outside scenes of men and women mating together. All kinds of scenes, different positions, different this, and people call that, the house of free love and everything. But when you analyze every picture, you see that it goes exactly against all the laws that we Jews have. For example, the man doesn't look at the woman. The man is actually, connected to the woman to the right, place, and is touching animals, is touching other men. So if you have a man that's going to mate with his woman, but he's going to think of another man, well, this is going to create some kind of a, virus or defect into the data of the seed, and you can create a child that's going to have a natural tendency of being homosexual. You understand? Because of the thoughts. So this is science. This is, they don't teach you that in university, but this is what we are taught. It's very important when we create a human being, when we mate with our wives, to be careful of the thoughts we have. Not think about the neighbor, the girlfriend or something, because at one point it's going to create something that the child is going to come and it's going to have.
It's a spiritual thing. Yeah,
it's spiritual, but it's also physical. It's like it's when the mind when the man and the woman.
That's the thing. We understand that the spiritual realm is linked to the physical.
Of course, totally.
Exactly.
Totally.
Okay, are we guys going to go on with the debate?
Yeah.
Well, this was a very good discussion, but I think we should go on with the debate.
Good idea.
It's the.
Sorry?
It's a good idea. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
World being in conflict, like there is a connection there. I don't see that in Christianity, though.
Maybe we're putting the cart before the horse. Let's back up and kind of define some terms.
Sure.
Right. So first, when you say eschatology, what do you mean by that?
The study of the end times, or the things of the end times.
Okay. And you would include Revelation.
Revelation.
Cut him off.
Hey, Vicky, how's it going?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just can't see your profile picture. You dropped below everybody. I was
Vicky
like,
came in.
Hey, Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
Can I?
If I could quickly.
That keeps calling me a hole in chat. Do you know what? At least nothing as
wait, Sammy.
as you come out of my hole.
Okay, let me show you what
Not
I do with people.
You're a little
Hold on a minute, babe. Can I say something to Sammy? Sammy in chat.
Sammy's already gone.
Not Sammy's with us. Sammy, why would my missus be controlled by Roger? You calling her baby girl and then an a-hole. Make up your mind. Is she your baby girl, my baby girl, or your asshole, or my asshole?
Sammy's now gone, so don't worry.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Oh, thanks, Flatz. I appreciate that. I really do.
Do you know what? There was no need
I was addressing it. I was addressing it, baby. You just didn't give me a chance.
But like, no, but they come in and all they want to do is go for Roger for no reason. And then because I said something to Roger, he starts calling me a hole and that. And I'm like, who are you talking to?
Billy called you baby girl to start off with.
Well, for all you know, he's probably just an old soccer account.
I don't know what it is.
All you know, he's someone else. He's probably just a troll.
Yeah.
Don't take it to heart, Vicky. Don't.
I know, but like, who addresses a woman as a whole?
Yeah, I know.
Sick people.
Yeah, I mean that is
Like, it says more about you than me.
Exactly.
Sick people.
Right.
Maybe Sammy should go and visit the Old Zoot. How's that?
Yeah, go and see the old boots. I mean, right.
Bye. See you later.
Bye, Vicky.
They're very prominent, by the way. They don't need no blue tablets or anything like that.
But yeah.
I talked to a Israeli last night, and he's a Zionist, and I asked him for clarification, and he's saying kind of exactly what you said. He's like, yeah, we have a right to be a nation, we have a right to defend ourselves, and I was asking him like about the political Zionism, and he didn't seem too in support of that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, and he's a Jew in Israel, and he's like, yeah, I don't really support the government, but we do have a right as a nation, and I'm a Zionist, and I was like, I kind of have to agree with you there.
But I mean, don't we all think it's fine for everybody to exist?
Yeah.
Would you, for instance, be against North Korea saying, "Oh, you guys aren't allowed to exist. We should wipe you off the face of the earth," just because we don't agree with them? They are anti-Christian, guys.
Yeah.
One thing I don't understand is that as Christians, I don't think there should be one Christian in the world that could believe that we stole the land of the Palestinians.
Oh,
because
no.
You see that in the Torah, we see the story. What did we come here? What did we, try to exterminate the ancient people that were before us in that land? So this is clear.
The thing is, when God promised Abraham the land of Canaan, okay, The Canaanites were there. Okay? There was no Palestinian people. Palestine is literally a new term.
It's a Roman
It's a
term.
colonial name. It's a colonial name that was carried that the British used, carried on from the Romans in 162 AD by trying to depopularize Jews. That's it. They just gave the name Palestina as a I'm trying to think of the right word, as a remark to make fun of the Jews based on the Philistines, because the Philistines were the enemies of the Israelites at the day. Okay? So they used that word as a derogatory term for all the kind of peoples in the land of Judea and Samaria, all the land. That's it. So it was Arabs, Christians, atheists, Jews, Hindus, whatever, whoever lived there were all renamed, quote unquote, Palestinians. But it wasn't an actual people.
We have on record, we have Yasser Arafat, remember that guy?
Arafat, yes.
And he states clearly on TV that the Palestinian people don't exist. We are Arabs, we are Bedouins, and we're just using that term in order to fight Israel. On the record, on TV. So, what else do you need? Doesn't mean that the Palestinians don't have a right to live. And we wish we could have, because, that will become like 3 million customers instead of 3 million, enemies. So we could make money with them by selling them things. They're hard workers. They can work. They can, produce things. So it's a huge manpower that could be used for peace and for prosperity.
But you see, what's funny is I'm getting a lot of the Palestinians today telling me, yeah, but we come from the Philistines that were there. Philistines came after Israel already was there.
No, the Philistines have nothing to do with it.
No, it has nothing to do with them. And the Philistines came after Israel was already there. Hence, with David, when he slew Goliath, it was because they were coming to try and conquer the land. The Philistines were people of the sea. They came from the island of Crete, the Greeks. So, literally, it's insane. When you look at the Palestinian DNA, they don't even have Greek DNA.
And you know what the Palestinians, I want to give you some insight. The Philistines, back then, they were people that were created by two other people. One is the Amim, and the other one I don't remember. And they used to be exchanges. They used to exchange wives. And out of this came out, the Philistines from wives exchanges.
So, Sam, let me get this straight. You're saying that Yasser Arafat said that they were using Palestine as a tool for the Arabian nation to get rid of it.
Yeah. I saw it not long ago. Yeah. I have to find it. I'll find it. No problem. Yes, of course. The name of
it's all propaganda. It's all just propaganda.
I don't know if you knew, but at the time of Yasser Arafat, we knew that he had gas stations in America, many of them. He was a billionaire, and so it was just a business. And he was using his position and his people in order to fight Israel. He was keeping his people in misery because they don't care. It's just that they don't care. Those are not leaders of people. Those are just implanted enemies that look like their own people.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
Ezekiel, a bunch of different places that have small references, large references, Thessalonians, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so got it. So now the audience knows that too. And then when you say Zionism, would a fitting definition of Zionism, at least in modernity, and I would even argue in its inception, be...
This is easy. Where were the Israelites when the Dome of the Rock was built? You weren't in the land of Israel. They were scattered about. There were still Jews there.
There were always Jews, a minority of Jews, but there were always Jews there for all the time. They never left, but in very small numbers, and very small numbers. But
just because they were exiled, it doesn't mean everybody left.
Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you go to exile for 2,000 years, you come back and you see people squatting your house. It's normal. That's all right. That's okay. Yeah. And we don't. And we never. The Jews never wanted to chase the Arabs. They never wanted to just tell them, that's our land. Get out. Of course not. They used to trade, stones against water. Jews used to give waters to the Arabs. They used to give them stones to build the houses in Jerusalem. Many neighborhoods were built like that, and there was a very good cooperation between the Arabs and the Jews always. We need the Arabs. The Jews need the Arabs. It's a huge, manpower for us. It's huge. So everything that's been built in Israel was built by Arabs. The roads, the trains, the buildings, everything. So it's stupid to believe that we want just to keep only Jews in Israel. It's so fucking stupid. It never happened. Even in the time of King David, there were all kinds of populations here. This is
ridiculous
nonsense.
argument.
Total nonsense. But they want.
But I mean, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, okay, was never even built until after Muhammad's death. But the Muslims are taught that Muhammad took the night journey to the mosque, and that's why it's a holy site. But it wasn't even built when he was alive.
Have you seen pictures of the mosque, before the state of Israel? It was in ruins, total ruins. It was like this, totally, nobody was taking up that building, totally, destroyed. Just take a look, and then suddenly, they had the money to, clean it up. But that's the thing. This is hypocrisy. It's just like but that's okay. I respect that somehow because it's a war. Those are enemies. They're playing their roles as enemies. That's okay. They're gonna fall like all our enemies. But that's okay. This is a game. You cannot, expect people to just accept the Jews and come here and become like a kingdom. So it had to be done by the UN, by the Rothschilds, by the kings, King of England, and all that. It had to, to come.
Yeah, the modern nation state.
Yeah, exactly.
Of Israel. You support the existence of the modern nation state of Israel. That is Zionism.
That's fair. I don't think there's any debate about that being kind of the basis. I know some people have additional things they throw in it, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So if you're a Christian Zionist, you have to support the existence of the modern nation. So if somebody comes out every 6 months and says the existence of this thing is about to not exist anymore, right? Then you're under the
Oh my word. Do we have to stop you every time, Mac? Why don't you just come in so we can educate you? Israel was never an Islamic nation. It was never an Islamic nation.
Why did we
Never since its conception.
We lived in Arab countries. We paid, in order to be able to live as non-Muslims, and we always, managed to live together in peace. We were very close. Separated.
He's claiming Israel. What's Israel today? Used to be an Islamic nation. No, it was never an Islamic nation. The Ottomans, the Kurds, all of them came and they fought. The Romans took over.
Yeah, the Palestine was not a state.
Exactly.
When they see the Palestinian people, okay, so who was their kings? What was their money? What was their language? Where are their books? So it's not a people. It's bullshit.
Those
are Arab Bedouins.
Yeah, but if Palestine ever was a state, why are they still fighting for the state today? Has anybody ever put two and two together? You wouldn't need to fight for a state if you were a state.
That's what's ridiculous, that we are being accused, to occupy a state that never existed.
But also what I don't get is, how can someone be indigenous to the land and be claimed to be a refugee at the same time?
I can't think of a reason why you would say that at all.
How do you be a refugee in your own land?
And the states were controlled by Rome, right? Originally, the city-states. That's who, had nothing to do with the Islamic State. That's separate completely.
Yep. And by the way, when they had, how can I say, the so-called, after Christianity came into power and then Islam came in and stuff, there were still Jews, there were still Christians.
Yes. The Jews fought
even with the exile, they still stayed there.
The Jews fought for Muhammad. They fought for they joined his army, and they and then they betrayed them and they killed them. That's classic. But we there always were Jews, but actually a small minority, not many. Like
Mac. Yeah, Mac, I want to correct you again. He says, keep saying we can't trace your lineage back to... Actually, they have ancient Israeli bones that they are able to do DNA tests through. There's literally DNA lineage tests.
when it comes to DNA, it's very complicated because
they can yeah, exactly, but they are able to go back to the Levant area.
Because for example,
and I don't think Mac has even probably heard of the Levant.
You know that the Judaicity comes from the mother. To belong to the people of Israel, you have to have a mother that is Israelite. If your father is not, and for example, if as a Jew I marry a non-Jewish woman, the children that I'm going to bring to life are not considered as my children but hers. You understand? Now again, but DNA doesn't work because, for example, if you have a Jewish woman that marries like a guy from Sudan, she's gonna have like a half a black, half a white kid. The kid is Jewish, but he has like Sudanese DNA. Same thing in China. You can go to China, a Jewish woman is gonna go with a Chinese man, and she's gonna make a Jew, but the DNA is not gonna match. So we have like it's kind of hard to understand that thing. How come it's the mother only that that does that? But you can see in the Eden Garden, it starts.
Yeah, but that's why. Yeah, but that's why even when it came to like King David and stuff, it went through the lineage of the mothers and it went on and on. Even Jesus, that's why it's through Mother Mary. You know what I mean? Mary came through the lineage. It was passed down from the mother.
Exactly. If people tell you, "Oh, that's bullshit," because it is written sometimes that that man, how do you say that, made or gave life to that man and etc. So they say, "Oh, you see, it was going according to the Father," but he never did, because in the Eden Garden you see clearly that God says to the snake, "I will put an animosity or hatred,
enmity,
between your offspring and her offspring." Why don't he say, between your offspring, talking to the snake, and Adam's offspring? No. And Hava's offspring. Oh, you understand? That there's something here already weird. And also many times in Torah it is said to the Jews, if you have a brother, son of your mother, Achiha ben Imecha, is your brother, son of your mother. This is the true brother that comes from the mother, not from the father. So among us there is something. I try to understand that also. You have DNA, okay? If you remain among the Jewish people, that DNA is gonna tell you where we come from, extra. But it's not going to be a proof
exactly.
It's not going to, because it's we have like some kind of 2 DNA. I don't know how it works, but it's like on every Jew you have like some kind of a spirit, something with like an antenna, something. I don't know. And you have to have those 2 DNAs. Like first of all, from the blood, you have to come from the blood, and also you have to have that thing with you. So I don't know. I know that we were supposed to be priests, so we may be like engineered with an option to connect to the big Wi-Fi, but besides that, I don't understand. But I know that it always was from the mother, never from the father, the offspring. That's interesting, also. That's interesting.
Let me just quickly correct you. Yes, Jewish lineage is extension. Israeli citizens under the law of return is based on the mother's DNA. Thank you, Mac, just for showing you are totally clueless as always.
Yes, but Israel also is going to accept you, because they're picking up the laws that Hitler had, that said that if you even had like a grandfather or great grandfather that is Jewish, you considered Jewish. So even on your father's side, so the state of Israel today considers the people that have even like a great grandfather on his father's side, he can come to the state of Israel, is accepted as not a Jew, because it's going to be written on his ID that he's not Jewish, but he's like what we call Zera Israel, the seeds of Israel, people that mixed up in the exile, and they want to come back.
So that's why you'll have blue passports if you're Jewish.
Blue passport. We all have blue. But
you don't want the green one though.
The Palestinian passport. I don't know which one is the green one. The thing is, you have to understand that the Jewish people. The thing is that unlike the nations, they never in order to survive without with living among the nations, in order to survive and to keep their identity, they had to observe very strict rules, because if not, they would have been assimilated. There were like 70 nations at the beginning that God created, 70 nations. But now you mixed up. You don't know what nation to belong to, and the only thing that can identify you is your spirit. That's why I always say, this is what you are, the spirit that you have, that can be recognized among certain people that that are described in the Torah. So this is, that with the spirit, not with the DNA, that you'll be able to know who you belong to. So even the races, they're mixed up. There's nothing really that says that it's forbidden in the Torah. But again, there must be a reason why God created races, like the blacks, the whites.
Yeah, I mean, but while the races as such, as in skin color differences, until Babel, I don't know. I mean, there might have been. I don't know.
Actually,
the possible explanation for that is the Tower of Babel and the scattering of people.
Well, the thing is that those races appeared before, like 250 years before the Tower of Babel, because it was when the people came out of the Ark. So it is stated over there that all the people that came out, out of these people, that there were 3 sons of Shem, and out of this all those nations came out. So there are reference there before Babel, but it's possible because they were together until Babel, I believe. They didn't want to spread. They want to spread, so it's possible also that they just mixed up and left.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to go on, guys.
Obligation as a Christian Zionist to do what?
Whatever the Bible tells you to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're a Christian Zionist, though, by definition, you would be a Christian who believes that the nation state of Israel needs to exist.
No, that's false. That's not what the Bible says. We don't support the nation state of Israel, not political. We support the Israelites to exist.
Yeah.
The people. You guys have a right to live. You have a right to defend yourself.
Everybody's got a right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. No, for now, no.
Look, God
says what Andrew's saying is he's making it political.
Yeah.
He's making it say.
Well, I understand it's very confusing because you have the Jews, you have the religion, you have the race, the bloodline, you have the state of Israel, you have the Zionists, you have the fucking Rothschild, you have all that shit, and people don't even know what's going on.
So a whole lot of it together, put it together.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the first thing to distinguish is exactly like what we have to do in the Flat Earth community, is to distinguish between the true people, the true Jews, and the fake ones, like the true Flat Earthers and the fake ones. Because it's normal, there are fake Jews here. They look like Jews, they act like Jews, they speak like Jews, but they're not Jews. Or there are Jews that are against Jews, that hate Jews, that hate the Torah, and they just hide like that. They melt among us, and that's normal because that's the war. So we have to define, who are the good ones and what are the fake ones, the true ones. So that's the first thing to do, and then you have to understand what is the purpose of the Jews. What the hell? Why are we here for? Why are having suffered all this time, and why distinguishing ourselves from the others? Why? What's the point?
I just think it's very wrong to be claiming to be a Christian and then say Israel is not allowed to defend himself.
And they're condemned.
Yeah, and they're condemned. The problem is the people that are attacking Israel literally are open about they want to wipe them off the face of the earth. They want to literally annihilate, genocide them, make sure they never exist. That is what they're literally open about. And people have a problem for them defending themselves. That to me is not Christian.
Everybody's got a right to defend himself. Even the Palestinians have the right to defend themselves. So everybody, it's like, there's no problem about this. The thing is that we're way above that question. The question is again that what are people's rights on that land, and who has the right to be here and extra. So again, the Jews, for us, it's like a Jewish country. That means normally there's no PDF files here. There is it shouldn't be like all kinds of abominations, but everybody's welcome to come. Again, 95% of the state of Israel is empty. Empty.
Wow.
You can have the echo, Oh, hello, empty. You understand? So it's not a question of land, and it's not a question of there's not enough room. There's plenty of room. So that's
has a right to, but needs to exist. So if that's the case, if they come out and say, hey, every few months we're about to not exist, the Iran's about to nuke us, the Turks are going to invade, the Muslims are
See what I'm saying? I'm a Christian. I say Israel is not allowed to defend.
Wow. Well, I would say that's not very Christian-like.
Exactly.
that
Who is
means that
clarifying October 7 event? I don't know. Maybe the fact that people literally died in October 7. Maybe the fact that there's still hostages held by Hamas from October 7. Maybe the fact that there are actually people that came back as hostages and actually give their testimonies on what happened. Maybe because there's video evidence of what happened. Maybe it's weird that Hamas were proud of what they did and posted it all over social media, what they were doing.
Well, I tell you something. There's a genetic hatred of Israel that's been,
That's my point. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual thing.
It's a spiritual thing. That means that that hatred has been injected into people for a very long time. And sometimes I tell you, even good flat earthers that I
Zionist
respect.
Christian, yeah, guys. Just want to point out, yes, I'm a Zionist Christian. Yes.
But
if I'm a Christian, I support Israel allowed to defend himself.
Well, Christians are allowed in Israel. This is the only state in the Middle East where Christians are free to have churches and pray and do their things. In all the Arab countries, they're not allowed. I think, or maybe in Lebanon they're allowed. There are a lot of Christian Arabs there, but normally it's like forbidden. They're not very welcome. So, what can I tell you? It's a complicated situation. But again, you can be like against evil Jews, which we Jews have even more reasons than you to fight them, but again, not against all Jews. It's like, you don't like all the blacks, you don't like all the Americans, you don't like all, this is ridiculous. This is stupid, to believe that an entire population is evil. That doesn't work like this. Never happened. Never.
Yeah.
So that's it. Now Zionists, but the term Zionist, I don't like the term because it sounds like Ashkenazi a little bit. There is a notion of Zion in Israel. That means that it's like the. I don't want to say to be mistaken, but it's land of Israel. Zion is like Jerusalem, the land of Israel. So it's like a symbolic term like this. But Zionist movement were created by people in Eastern Europe, like 100 and something years ago, and people actually that denigrated the Torah and officially just despised the principles of Judaism and the Torah, and they wanted to make a nation like all the other nations. So I don't know if it was a game in order to make the UN and the King of England and all those people believe that we're going to make a nation, but we're going to be like you. Don't worry, you're going to have the same things. We're not going to be different. So maybe it's a game also. I don't know, but to want to come back in this land and to be a part of the Zionist world organization is two different things. It's not the same thing, even though it serves the same purpose, but it's kind of different.
Yeah.
I have something a bit I want to show you. Wait a second. There's a guy, a pastor. It's called, I don't know if you know him, it's called John Hagee.
John Hagee.
Yes. Yeah, we don't like him.
Yeah, we're just talking about him at the start.
Yeah, I just watched a video about that guy last night. Yeah.
I don't know. He says something. If you want, I can share it. It's like a few seconds. I don't know if you will agree with him.
Yeah, the Jews don't need Jesus. They don't need Jesus because they're already saved. That's what he said.
That's what he teaches.
I know. I don't.
Yeah, he made a book about that. Yeah, you guys don't need Jesus according to him.
I didn't.
But anyway, I got the United Nations digital library on for MacMac. Doesn't MacMac agree with United Nations? Because they got a whole detailed finding on attacks carried out on October 7th. Independent International Commission of Inquiry of Occupied Palestine, including East Jerusalem and Israel. And it gives you everything you need to know about the October 7 attacks.
We have videos going on the net here, like taken by the police. And
how about
very hard videos to watch?
Yeah, how about I'm not going to show the videos though, but I'm going to just quickly.
Yeah, Rog, I don't care if Weasley's talking crap about me. He can talk crap about me all
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wants. He's
How's
just
this?
full of it. He's full of it. I don't even know what he's saying. I don't see chat, so I'd rather not know what Weasley's
Yeah,
saying.
no, just ignore them. Anyway, Hamas massacre documented war crimes. These are actually a whole bunch of videos. I don't want to show it. I don't want to show it, but I'm just going to tell you it goes on.
There's a mistake. They say 3,000 Hamas terrorists, but it's not true. A big part of the people that came in were civilians. They were not from Hamas. They were Gazan civilians.
Look. Flatzoid's a statement, not a certification. In the United States, we have claims that Building 7 fell because of fires. We have whole reports. Literally, the UN gives the names of the people taken hostage. Gives the names of the people who died. Gives the names of the people who still are hostage.
Well,
what is wrong with you?
It's a hatred of the Jews. Whatever is going to happen to the Jews is their fault, and whatever they're going to do is wrong. That doesn't matter. You go left, we're wrong. We go right, we're wrong. Forget about it. It's like genetic hatred. From that fucking Vatican.
So Mac, you are a disgusting piece of shit. If you're saying it never happened, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's just like the hatred of the Jewish people. That's what it's like a genetic hatred again.
But the point is, the guy is saying it never happened.
Yeah, he can say that.
This is a terrorist sympathizer, a guy that literally sticking up for Hamas, who've done literally very sick things, and saying what happened to the innocent people in Israel never happened. To me, that is very disgusting.
Well,
if you want to claim that everybody's so bad to people, yet you are defending the terrorists who did very disgusting things to innocent people on October 7th and saying it's fake, shows how disgusting you are. You cannot be a Christian and hold those values. I'm sorry. That I will definitely say you are not a Christian if you hold the values and saying they lied about October 7th, it was fake.
It wasn't fake, believe me. People are like, even cops, even soldiers.
Well, I will say this, right? There's plenty of real psyops that people actually die. You know what I mean? Like in America, there was many shootings where everybody, the mainstream said one shooter, and every single person that survived, every person that survived in the crowd said, "I swear to you, I heard multiple shots from multiple different rooftops," and the mainstream narrative is one shooter, and then they capture the guy. Yeah. And then now, who knows who the other three people were shooting? They didn't even announce their names. So it happens, bro. People do get injured, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, psyop or not, what's the point here? Like, I don't even think we're supporting the political Zionism.
Yeah, we're not. What are you pointing out? Innocent real lives were lost. Innocent real lives have been affected through this. Psyop or not, it's a real event that happened.
Yeah.
The only thing you can say,
it's not AI, like Anush said.
Yeah, and the fact that people are denying it is sick.
No, you can have doubts about anything. It's not a problem, but you have to check. You have to double check. You have to investigate, just like we investigate in Flat Earth. On Flat Earth, so that's the same thing. You're free to think whatever you want to think, no problem. But then just check things out, or just don't stay with your theory or conclusions just because it feels good for you. It's ridiculous. So that's the thing. Just double check. Always double check. The only thing you can say about the 7th of October is that never, ever that would have happened if there was no complicity inside people in key positions in the Israel security system, because it's not possible. It's not possible.
Well,
the army should have got there like with helicopters right away. They should have just just shoot them out and right away. Like in a few minutes, everything is built for that, and it took like 6-7 hours for them to react.
Right.
You have also like a states woman there, like terrible woman, that gave the order to helicopters not to shoot the terrorists that were inside the villages, the Jewish villages, because it would be dangerous for the villages. So this is nonsense. This is crazy.
I mean, personally, like, you know, I think there's definitely some weird things going on, especially with the Iran attack or the Iran attacks and all that. But I'm not in support of the modern state of Israel and the government. But I'm not against the Jews either. And if they want to live in Israel and have freedoms, then they should be able to do that. And if their government wants to go wacko and do whatever, I mean, my government does that too. Have you seen some of the stuff Trump is doing? I don't take responsibility for anything he's doing. But people want to lump me in, and now you got Europeans even that hate Americans just because of what Trump did. You know what I mean? And it's the same way with Israel. And you can't, you really can't do that because that's condemning a whole nation based on what 10 to 15 politicians in power, and then everybody else is you're labeling everybody else. I don't know, you know?
Yeah. Well, just listen to this, okay? I don't know if you guys remember Miriam. She was shot in the arm and she was taken hostage, and she was one of the first hostages that came back, and they said she was supposed to say, oh yeah, they were good to me, they looked after me and all that stuff. They even had a video of her live showing, you know, it's like saying, yeah, I'm being taken care of and things. Remember that? This was that girl. That's her mother.
למה החלטת להתראיין?
כי היה לי חשוב לשקף את המצב האמיתי על אנשים שחיים בעזה, מי הם באמת, ועל מה שעברתי שם. עברתי שואה.
אנחנו נוכל לבדוק את היד?
כן.
אומר שזה כואב.
אז שחזרה הביתה, אחרי 55 ימים בעזה, ועכשיו מי השם חוזרת איתנו באומץ לרגעים המצלקים בשבי, מהנקודה שבה הכל התחיל.
אני ואליה, החבר הכי טוב שלי, זכרונו לברכה, יצאנו לנובה. מהרגע הראשון שבאתי לשם, הייתה לי תחושת מועקה כזאת. לא הצלחתי ליהנות. משום מקום התחילו לראות עלינו מחבלים, לרצוח שם אנשים. ואני ואליה היינו הראשונים, בין הראשונים שכאילו יצאו משם. נכנסנו לאוטו, היה לחץ מטורף, אני נהגתי. פתאום אליה צועק לי, מי היורים? אני לוחצת על הגז כדי...
You just saw that. They just showed the video from Hamas, the Hamas webcam shooting at that car. This girl talking now. But it's fake, guys. Now, we're obviously not going to go through everything she says, but she tells the whole ordeal, and it's not a very exciting thing. There's another one I can show you of a woman that was with a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old in the Hamas tunnels for 3 months. Okay?
That sounds horrific, man.
Yeah, but it never happened, guys. All this is just psyop. The point is, psyop or not, real people went through this. Real people suffer through this. Innocent people suffer through this. And it's sick to deny that October 7 didn't happen just because you have a hatred for the Jews. That's not Christian.
It's not human.
It's not human.
No.
It's not.
No.
Yeah, but it's okay. Again, you can believe in all kinds of, conspiracies and everything. There's no problem. I have no problem with that. But again, you have to double check. If you really want to know the truth, you're going to find out, you're going to find it. But the thing is that, people don't want to find it. They're just like happy with what they have, and that's it. And it's just give them like a, feeling of like, it's
Yep.
nuts. It's nuts. But that's okay. We know that. We know.
Yeah.
We're used to that. Doesn't change nothing.
Blowing us up in the street. The Palestinians are stabbing our children in the face. Whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
the Christian Zionists, though, Yeah, the Christian Zionist says what? No, we got to support the right to exist, blood, treasure, everything else. Now, I do think that moves into the idea of eschatology, especially because I do think that the...
Look at this. You are talking about the effects of war. You need to determine the cause. October 7 caused the war. It's not the effect of the war, you idiot. The war came because of October 7, not effects of war.
People.
Does the guy even know what he's talking about? The war in Gaza right now is because of October 7. The war in Gaza right now will literally end if Hamas throw down their weapons and release the rest of the hostages. That's it. Is that so hard to understand? So yeah, it's sad that people have an issue with people literally defending their lives.
But the funny thing is that, they don't look too much into history, because usually these people belong to countries that did much, much worse to other nations, to other people, without having to defend themselves, just by attacking them, just to steal their land and kill them and steal their gold and their, France and England, they create such a disorder in the world, by colonizing, Africa and Asia. You know what they did? They stole everything. They killed, they raped, they murdered, they did everything which is possible, and well, those are the nations today that want to, to lecture Israel about, what's good and what's wrong. That's that's funny. They have to look at their own doings. This is what's funny about it. Everybody that accuses Israel is usually accusing Israel of their own defect, their own sins. That's always like this. It's always the same. It doesn't mean that the state of Israel, people of Israel, is right all the time. We're wrong also. The Torah is full of examples where we did rebel against God and everything. But the thing is that again, you have to make sure of before to claim something, you have to investigate it.
Okay,
well, isn't that the true definition of hypocrisy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from the Hamas Charter, guys. Hamas is an Arabic acronym for the Islamic resistance movement. It has called on members of the other two Abrahamic faiths, Judaism and Christianity, to accept Islamic rule in the Middle East. It is the duty of the followers of the religions to stop disputing the sovereignty of Islam in this region, because the day these followers should take over, there will be nothing but carnage, displacement, and terror.
Yeah,
It decreed. Hamas also rejected any prospect of peace or coexistence with the state of Israel. Initiatives, proposals, and international conferences are all a waste of time and vain endeavors. The Palestinian people know better than to consent to having their future rights and fate toyed with. Hamas was founded in the early days of the first Intifada uprising, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys understand? They don't want peace.
No, they don't want
peace. It's never been about peace.
It has nothing to do with land.
It says nothing to do. They literally just want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. That's literally all they want to do, guys. That's what they say. They're open about it.
But do you know what Hamas means in Hebrew?
No.
Hamas means actually violence, but there is a secret around that word, because it starts by the word ham, which is heat, and everything which is heat also sometimes points to sexual activity. That means it's sexual violence. The Hamas is sexual violence. It's a deep meaning of that word, but it's an Hebrew word. Of course, in Arabic, I don't know what it means. But.
Yeah. Okay, so let's read the Hamas covenant. Out of the midst of troubles and sea of suffering, out of the palpitations of faithful hearts and cleansed arms, out of the sense of duty and in response to Allah's command, the call has gone out rallying people together and making them follow the ways of Allah, leading them to have determined will in order to fulfill their role in life, to overcome all obstacles and surmount the difficulties on the way. Constant preparation has continued, and so has the readiness to sacrifice life and all that is precious for the sake of Allah. Thus, It was that the nucleus of the movement was formed and started to pave its way through the tempestuous sea of hopes and expectations, of wishes and yearnings, the troubles of obstacles, of pain and challenges, both inside and outside. Article 1.
So there is nothing constructive. It's just to destroy, to kill, to sacrifice. There's nothing
exactly
to construct a good life for the Palestinians, to aspire to riches and everything. It's nothing to do with this. It's just like
no, it's just about. It's just them. It's just to have dominion over everything. That's all. They want to create a new caliphate where the world is just Islamic. That's it.
They
don't give a damn about anything. They don't even care about land.
Well, they're doing it in Europe. Officially, Israel declared, that Europe is Arab territory now, and that they want all Israelis not to travel there. It's considered Arab territory. Europe is it's
like I said, they want domination. So Article 1. The movement's program is Islam. From it draws its ideas, ways of thinking and understanding of the universe, life, and man. Article 2. The Islamic resistance movement is one of the wings of Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine. Muslim Brotherhood movement is a universal organization. It constitutes the largest Islamic movement in modern times. It is characterized by its deep understanding, accurate comprehension, and its complete embrace of all Islamic concepts and all aspects of life. Culture, creed, politics, economic, education, society, justice, and judgment to spreading of Islam. Education, art, information, science of the cult and conversion to Islam. Article 3.
Yeah.
The basic structure of Islamic resistance movement consists of Muslims who have given their allegiance to Allah, whom they truly worship. Article 4. The Islamic resistance movement welcomes every Muslim, embraces its faith, ideology, follows its program, keeps its secrets, and wants to belong to its ranks and carry out the duty. Allah will certainly reward such one. Article 5. By adopting Islam as its way of life, the movement goes back to the time of the birth of Islamic message, of the righteous ancestor, for Allah is its target. The Prophet is its example, and the Quran is its constitution. Article 6. It strives to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine, for under the wing of Islam follows all the religion can coexist in secretly and safety where their lives, possessions, and rights are concerned. In the absence of Islam, strife will be rife. Oppression spreads, evil prevails, and schemes and wars will break out. I find that odd, because that's literally where wars come from, is Islam. Article 7. The Islamic resistance movement is one of the links in the chain of struggle against the Zionist invaders. The Zionist invaders. You see, guys, it goes back to 1939, to the emergence of the martyr Ilz al-Zadan Kizam and his brethren, the fighters, members of the Muslim Brotherhood. 1939, guys. I'm sorry. Were there Jews in the land then? Yes. Weird. How did they invade?
Weird.
Oh. Okay.
It's funny to see that they have a deep understanding of things. And if if they serve so much Allah, why don't Allah give them any victory? Why don't Allah don't bless them?
That's why the Muslim Brotherhood. But that's why the Muslim Brotherhood actually exists today, because they believe that Muslims have become soft. Hence why they waging jihad. They believe they are the true Muslims, keeping to what the Quran says. And remember Nakba. That is why they have such a chip on their shoulders. Because it was a big catastrophe. Because they try their best all the time, the 6-day war, everything, they try their best they can to get rid of the Jews, and yet somehow the Jews, being in a minority, always win.
But you know,
almost like Israel might be God's chosen people, like the Bible says.
The thing is that lots of Arabs are awakening today. Lots of Arabs understanding that it doesn't work, that they have no blessings from God, by fighting Israel. They realize that the Arabs living with Israel and cooperating with Israel have the good life, have everything, and they are blessed. And and they're starting to realize they're being fooled. They are being, being fooled. They're being fooled by those people that are using them as human shields, as weapons against Israel. So they realize that now, and this is why one of the reasons why they don't move against Israel. They don't want to, and they want to protect Palestinians because they know it's like fabricated people by the enemies of Israel, and they point to the Vatican Church right away because those are the only ones that have the money, the means, the groups and subgroups to do everything they want and to finance this kind of people.
The Roman Empire.
Via governments, via CIA, via whoever you want, doesn't matter. Because
the Roman Empire.
People all over the place. Yeah, it's invisible empire, just like Star Wars. So this is crazy. This is those are the people.
So Article 8, jihad is its path and death for the sake of Allah is the loftiest of its wishes.
No life, just
Article, they're literally what it's saying, guys, is to die for Allah is all he wants.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like a path of life. Like jihad shouldn't be like to liberate, let's say, the Arabs and to create a good life. They never mentioned that. Just like death and destruction and death. They don't build nothing.
But that's all it is. That's why I'm saying they want to be martyred because they believe being martyred gets them to Jannah, gets them to heaven.
That's the question. Arabs don't want to be martyred. That's the reality. They don't want
I'm talking about Islamists.
Yes, those organizations. They want them to become martyrs and to die. But the Arabs don't want to die. They want to live.
Yeah.
They want to have life.
Exactly. But that's why I said you always have the bad apples in everything. There's a lot of Muslims out there that I said, really, they don't want war. They don't want death. It's these extremists that take the Quran very literal and the hadiths, and they take it as, oh, we should kill everybody, every infidel. It's unfortunate. And that's exactly what Hamas is based upon. Extremism. So, the Islamic resistance movement found itself at a time when Islam has disappeared from life. Thus, rules shook, concepts were upset, values changed, and evil people took control. Oppression and darkness prevailed. Cowards became like tigers. Homelands were usurped. People were scattered and were caused to wander all over the world. The state of justice disappeared, and the state of falsehood replaced it. Nothing remained in its right place. Thus, when Islam is absent from the arena, everything changes. Article 10. As the Islamic resistance movement paves its way, it will back the oppressed and support the wronged with all its might. It will spare no effort to bring about justice and defeat injustice. The word and deed in this place and everywhere it can reach and have influence therein. See, look, it's talking about everywhere, guys. Literally the whole world. Article 11. The Islamic resistance movement believes that the land of Palestine is an Islamic endowment, consecrated for future Muslim generations until Judgment Day. It or any part of it should not be squandered. It or any part of it should not be given up. Neither a single Arab country nor Arab countries, neither any king or president, nor all the kings of presidents, neither any organization, nor all of them, be they Palestinian or Arab, possesses the right to do that.
But it goes against the Quran because it's the same thing. In the Quran, it's written that this is the land of the Jews given to Israel.
It was given to Moses.
Of course. So
those
are not Arabs. Those are not even Islamists that wrote that.
They literally go against the Quran. Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
The Quran says it says Allah gave the land to the Israelites. Which is funny because this is what these guys are going against. Article 12. Nationalism, from the point of view of the Islamic resistance movement, is part of religious creed. Nothing in nationalism more significant or deeper than the case where an enemy should tread Muslim land. Resisting and coiling enemy become the individual duty of every Muslim, male or female. Article 13. Initiatives and so-called peaceful solutions and international conferences are the contradiction to the peoples of the Islamic resistance movement. Did you read that, guys? Let me read that again. Initiatives and so-called peaceful solutions and international conferences are in contradiction to the principles of the Islamic resistance movement. What is that telling you guys?
That's very military-like, isn't it?
So in other words, why have they never accepted a two-state solution? Because it's not about the land. It's not about peace, guys.
Yeah.
It's about they want to take over, full stop. So, now and then the call goes out for the conveying of an international conference to look for ways of solving the Palestinian question. Some accept, others reject the idea for this or other reason, with one stipulation or more for consent to convening the conference and participating in it, knowing the parties constituting the conference, their past and present attitudes towards Muslim problems. The Islamic resistance movement does not consider these conferences capable of realizing the demands, restoring the rights, or doing justice to the oppressed. These conferences are only ways of setting the infidels in the land of the Muslims as arbitrators. When did the infidels do justice to the believers? By the way, we are all infidels according to them, just in case you didn't know that. Article 14. The question of the liberation of Palestine is bound to three circles: the Palestinian circle, the Arab circle, and the Islamic circle. Each of these circles has its role in struggle against Zionism. See how they are specifically against Zionism, guys?
But do you think Arabs could have made that text there, that could have made that chart there? Do you think those guys are capable of writing all that shit?
It's quite good. Each has its duties, and it's a horrible mistake and assign a deep ignorance to overlook any of these circles. Since this is the case, liberation of the Palestine is then an individual duty for every Muslim wherever he may be. On this basis, the problem should be viewed. This should be realized by every Muslim. Article 15. The day that enemies usurp part of Muslim land, jihad becomes the individual duty of every Muslim. In face of the Jews' usurpation of Palestine, it is compulsory that the banner of jihad be raised.
But how come they didn't want to free Palestine when it was occupied by the Ottoman Empire or the British
or the
Empire?
Kurds? Yeah.
Yes.
Or the Kurds.
Never wanted. Oh, that was okay then. That's that was a problem then. But no,
Really
under the Turkish people, they were like, if they had like made one move against the Turkish empire, they would have been like killed right away.
But you see, this is very specific to ethnic cleansing of Jews specifically. Article 16. It is necessary to follow Islamic orientation in educating the Islamic generations in our region by teaching the religious duties, comprehensive study of the Quran, and the study of the Prophet's Sunnah, his saying and doings, and learning about Islamic history and heritage from their authentic sources. And I just want to point out, Islamic sources are not authentic. They change history. They make up shit. They literally regurgitate nonsense that is not real. This is why Palestinian children and Islamic children today are taught that the Jews have stolen the land. They taught that Palestine was always the land. They taught that the Al-Aqsa Mosque has always been there. There has never been a Jewish temple there. They teach these things to the children.
Yeah, but there's evidence for the temple now.
Yes, but this is what is being taught in Islam. That's what I'm saying. And literally, you are not allowed in Islam. It's against Islam rules to go and read other sources than what the imams give you to read. Mm-hmm. So when you go into for instance, a library, a Muslim library, and they see a book that's not, how can I say, accepted by the imams, those guys can get the death penalty.
Wow.
Because it's not the propaganda they want to push. You're only allowed to read what they tell you you're allowed to read.
That's brainwashing for sure.
And if everybody didn't know the history, do you know that Hitler got his ideas through Islamic imam? He literally got his ideas to eradicate the Jews in Auschwitz from the Islamic agendas.
The Mufti of Jerusalem.
Yes. Okay, let's carry on. Article 16. Oh, no, right? No, Article 17. The Muslim women have a role no less important than that of a Muslim man in the battle of liberation. She is the maker of men. Her role in guiding and educating the new generations is great. Yeah, she's just, in other words, a baby maker. Article 18. Woman in the home of the fighting family, whether she is the mother or a sister, plays the most important role in looking after the family, rearing the children and imbuing them with the moral values and thoughts derived from Islam. She has to teach them to perform the religious duties in preparation for the role of fighting, awaiting them. Wait, preparation for the role of fighting, awaiting them. So that's not peace, is it?
No.
That is why it's necessary to pay great attention to schools and the curriculum followed in educating Muslim girls, so that they would grow up to be good mothers, aware of their role in the battle of liberation. Kind of, doesn't this sound like dictatorship to you guys?
Kind of, yeah.
Nazism.
Yeah, it's literally. Article 19. The issues of Islamic liberation are in the need of Islamic art that would take the spirit high without raising one side of human nature above the other, but rather rise all of them harmoniously and in equilibrium. Man is a unique and wonderful creature, made out of a handful of clay and a breath from Allah. Islamic art addresses man on this basis, while pre-Islamic art addresses the body, giving preference to the clay component in it. Article 20. Muslim society is a mutually responsible society. The Islamic spirit is what should prevail in every Muslim society. Our enemy relies on the method of collective punishment. He has deprived people of their homeland and properties, pursued them in the place of exile and gathering, breaking bones, shooting at women, children, and old people, with or without a reason. That literally is what Islam is. Wow. Okay.
It's very simple. You have to check everything they say. This is everything they are, everything they do.
Exactly. It's like hypocrisy on steroids.
It's classic. It's classic.
Yeah.
And remember that the rat lines from the from the Nazis, when the International Red Cross and all these Vatican proxies helped the Nazis to escape. Lots of them arrived in Syria and in Egypt. And they became advisors, and they became military advisors, and everything, in the Arab countries. So all this transpires, this is not something that Arabs would have written, that they would have never wrote that kind of stuff. This comes from German thinking, Nazi thinking, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay. Mutual social responsibility means extending assistance, financial, moral, to all those who are in need and joining in the execution of some of the work. Members of the Islamic resistance movement should consider the interests of the masses as their own personal interests. Yeah. Article 22. For as long time, the enemies have been planning skillfully and with precision for the achievement of what they have attained. They took into consideration the causes affecting the current events. They strived to amass great and substantive material wealth, which they devoted to the realization of their dream. With their money, they took control of the world media, news agencies, the press, publishing houses, broadcasting stations, and others. With their money, they stirred revolutions in various parts of the world with the purpose of achieving their interests and reaping the fruit therein. That's literally what's happening today from Islam. That's literally what's happening today from Islam. Wow. Article 23. The Islamic resistance movement views the Islamic movements with respect and appreciation. If it were at variance with them on one point or opinion, it is an agreement that them or other points and understandings is considered these movements. If they reveal good intentions and dedication to Allah, that they fall into the category of those who are trying hard since they act within the Islamic circle. Each active person has these share. Article 24. The Islamic resistance movement does not allow slandering or speaking ill of individuals or groups, for the believer does not indulge in such malpractices. It is necessary to differentiate between this behavior and the stands taken by certain individuals as groups. In other words, you're not allowed to question or say anything. If the mom tells you something, you have to accept it. Article 25. It's called dictatorship, guys. The moment assures all the nationalist trends operating in the Palestinian arena for the liberation of Palestine that it is there to support and assistance. It will never be more than that, both in words and deeds, now and in future, is there to bring together and not to divide, to preserve and not to squander, to unify and not to throw asunder. Article 26. In viewing the Palestinian nationalist movements that give allegiance neither to the east nor to the west, in this positive way, the Islamic resistance movement does not refrain from discussing new situations in the regional or international levels where the Palestinian question is concerned. It does that in such an objective manner, revealing the extent of how much it is in harmony or contradiction with the national interests in the light of the Islamic point of view. Article 27. The Palestinian Liberation Organization, that's the PLO, guys, is the closest to the heart of the Islamic resistance movement. It contains the father and the brother, the next of kin and the friend. Our homeland is one, our situation is one, our fate is one, and the enemy is a joint enemy to all of us. Secularism completely contradicts religious ideology. Is the West seen as a secularist place? The answer is yes. And what are they telling everybody, the secularists? The ones that are literally defending them? We love you guys. We love you. But what does it say? It contradicts them. Let's look what it contradicts. Attitudes, conducts, and decisions stem from ideologies. That is why, with all our appreciation for the Palestinian Liberation Organization and what it can develop into, and without belittling its role in the Arab-Israeli conflict, we are unable to exchange the present or future Islamic Palestine with the secular idea. The Islamic nature of Palestine is part of a religion, and whatever takes his religion lightly is a loser. The day the PLO adopts Islam as its way of life, we will become its soldiers and fuel for its fire that will burn the enemies. Does that sound like peace to you? Wow. Have anything further to say before we go on?
Have you seen the Hezbollah's flag? It's with a AK-47 in the flag. Fucking stupid. How can I tell you? So, but these people I also see them as victims. Victims.
It seems that people in chat don't like me pointing out Hamas's charter. They don't like me showing what they stand for. That's sad. Okay, Article 28, because it just gets worse, guys. Arab countries surrounding Israel are asked to open their borders before the fighters from among the Arab and Islamic nations so that they could consolidate their efforts with those in their Muslim brethren in Palestine. As for the Arab and Islamic countries, they are asked to facilitate the movement of the fighters from and to it, and this is the least thing they could do. Article 30. Writers, intellectuals, media people, orators, educators, and teachers, and all the various sectors in the Arabic and Islamic world, all of them are called upon to perform their role and to perform their duty. Jihad is not confined to carrying of arms and the confrontation of the enemy. The effective word, the good article, the useful book, support, and solidarity together with presence of sincere purpose for the hoisting of Allah's banner higher and higher. All these are elements of the jihad for Allah's sake. Article 31. Under the wing of Islam, it is possible for the followers of the three religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, to coexist in peace and quiet with each other. Peace and quiet would not be possible except under the wing of Islam. You see that, guys? So we can coexist, but under the wing of Islam. It is the duty of the followers of other religions to stop disputing the sovereignty of Islam in this region, because the day these followers should take over, there will be nothing but carnage, displacement, and terror. That literally sounds like a narcissistic statement.
It's exactly what happens to them, like carnage, displacement, misery.
Okay, this is where it's going to get for you. World Zionism, together with imperialistic powers, try through a studied plan and an intelligent strategy to remove one Arab state after another from the circle of struggle against Zionism, in order to have it finally face the Palestinian people only. Egypt was, to a great extent, removed from the circle of the struggle through the treacherous Camp David agreement. They are trying to draw the other Arab countries into similar agreements and to bring them outside the circle of struggle. Wow. Article 33. The Islamic resistance movement, being based on the common, coordinated, and interdependent conceptions of the laws of the universe, and flowing in the stream of destiny, in confronting and fighting the enemies in defense of the Muslims and Islamic civilizations and sacred sites, the first among which is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, urges the Arab and Islamic peoples, their governments, popular and official groupings, to fear Allah, where their view of the Islamic resistance movement and their dealings with it are concerned. They should back and support it, as Allah wants them to, extending it to more and more funds till Allah's purpose is achieved, when ranks will close up, fighters join other fighters, and masses everywhere in the Islamic world will come forward in response to the call of duty while loudly proclaiming, "Hail to Jihad." Their cry will reach the heavens and will go on being resounded until liberation is achieved, the invaders vanquished, and Allah's victory comes about. Wow. Article 34. Palestine is the navel of the globe and the crossroad of the continents. Since the dawn of history, it has been the target of expansionists. Expansionists have more than once put their eye on Palestine, which they attacked with their armies and fulfill their designs on it. Thus, it was the Crusaders who came with their armies, bringing with them their creed and carrying their cross. They were able to defeat the Muslims for a while, but the Muslims were able to retrieve the land only when they stood under the wing of their righteous banner, united their word, hallowed the name of Allah, and surged fight under the leadership of Salah Idwan al-Haib. I just want to point out, do you know Islam is literally expansionists? Islam expanded through the whole Arabian Peninsula. Islam has expanded and still expanding through the world. They took it by force. Those were all the Muslim countries today were all Christian-based, people. They were Christian lands. Okay, let's go. Article 35. The present Zionist onslaught has also been preceded by crusading raid from the west and other Tatar raids from the east. Just as the Muslims faced those raids and planned fighting and defeating them, they should also be able to confront the Zionist invasion and defeat it. I'm sorry. Sam, are you guys invading anyone, or are you trying to just survive in Israel?
We didn't invade anybody. We just were given back a piece of our land, because the land goes a little behind, what the state of Israel is today, but not towards Iraq, which is not true, because it was given to the sons of Ishmael, but towards Egypt a little bit. But at that point, nobody's gonna try to conquer Egypt.
Think about it. There's what, 52 Muslim countries
That's
all
about right.
surrounding you. You guys are one Jewish nation. How are you guys being the expansionists here?
Well, just as our religion, we're not conquerors. Our religion is not a religion of conquest. Our people is not a conquering people. It's people made out of pastors, people wandering around with their flocks. It's people adapting to every situation. So we're not like builders of empires, but we know how to survive. We can survive, and we know how to fight. So the things that we have a state, the game, it's a big game changer now. Because now we can people are going to see who the Jews are. Like they had a different idea of the Jews before the state of Israel. So again, it's not because it's not because the state of Israel may be corrupted, may make mistakes, may make like wrong choices. It's possible. We can think that. It doesn't matter. I believe that the state is a platform. It's a foundation for something much bigger, much higher spiritually. And not
I agree.
So
Article 36. The Islamic resistance movement adopts Islam as its way of life. Islam is its creed and religion. Whoever takes Islam as his way of life, be it an organization, a grouping, a country, or any other body, the Islamic resistance movement considers itself as their soldiers and nothing more. Here's the principles, guys, of policies from Hamas. This is, Palestine is the land of the Arab Palestinian people. From it they originate. To it they adhere and belong. And about it they reach out and communicate. Poppycock, that's total nonsense. Palestine is a land whose status has been elevated by Islam, a faith that holds it in high esteem, that breathes through it its spirit and just values, and that lays the foundation for the doctrine of defending and protecting it. Palestine is the cause of a people who have been let down by a world that fails to secure their rights and restore to them what has been usurped from them. A people whose land continues to suffer one of the worst types of occupation in this world. Yeah, you guys always get claimed to be the occupier, occupants there. That's weird. Last time I checked, 2005, did Israel back out from Palestine, Gaza? So Israel's not occupying Gaza at all. It's literally Hamas territory. And they're claiming Israel's occupying. It's weird. So, Palestinian land was seized by a racist, anti-human, and colonial Zionist project, was founded on a false promise, a Balfour Declaration, on recognition of an usurping entity, and on imposing a fiat accompanied by force.
So you see, everything they say describes who they are.
Exactly what they are.
Exactly, and they're trying to give us their own face, trying to give us their own.
Exactly.
That's how the snake does in the Torah. I don't know.
This is literally just deception.
It's a hatred. It's a hatred so strong that makes them stupid, stupid, and makes them lose everything they have.
But I wonder how people can read this. I don't think anybody's actually read this.
No, not even the Arabs. That's for sure.
Palestinian symbolizes the resistance that shall continue when liberation is accomplished, until the return is fulfilled, and until a fully sovereign state is established with Jerusalem as its capital. Palestine is the true partnership among Palestinians and all affiliations of the sublime objective of liberation. Palestine is the spirit of Ummah and its central cause. It is the soul of humanity and its living conscience. This document is the product of deep deliberations that led us to strong consensus as a movement. We agree about both the theory and the practice of the vision that is outlined in these pages that follow. It is a vision that stands on solid ground and on well-established principles. This document unveils the goals, the milestones, and the way in which national unity can be enforced. It also establishes our common understanding of the Palestinian cause, the working principles which we use to further it, and the limits of flexibility used to interpret it. Woo-wee! Okay, Now, this is where they get to say what is planned, okay? The Islamist resistance movement, Hamas, is a Palestinian organization, liberation resistance movement. Its goal is to liberate Palestine and confront the Zionist project. Its frame of reference is Islam, which determines its principles, objective, and means. Palestine, which extends from the River Jordan in the east to the Mediterranean in the west, and from Ras al-Anaqsi to the north of al-Rasha is in the south, is an integral territorial unit. It is the land and the home of the Palestinian people. No, it's not. The expulsion and banishment of the Palestinian people from the land and the establishment of the Zionist entity therein do not annul the right of the Palestinian people to their entire land, and do not entrench any rights therein of the uprising Zionist entity. Palestinians never existed. They've never had the land. There's no such thing as Palestinian land. Palestine is an Arab Islamic land. It is blessed sacred land that has a special place in the heart of every Arab and every Muslim. Also false. Arabs don't even see Palestine as Arabs. Wow. The Palestinians are the Arabs who lived in Palestine until 1947. False. Irrespective of whether they were expelled from it or stayed in it, and every person that was born to an Arab Palestinian father after that date, whether inside or outside Palestine, is a Palestinian. So in other words, it doesn't matter what you are. If you just say you're Palestinian, you're Palestinian. Okay. The Palestinian identity is authentic and timeless. It is passed from generation to generation. The catastrophes that have befallen the Palestinian people as a consequence of the Zionist occupation and its policy of displacement cannot erase the identity of the Palestinian people, nor can they negate it. A Palestinian shall not lose his or her national identity or rights by acquiring a second nationality. Oh my word. There is so much wrong with everything they're saying here. Oh, wow, wow. And this is what people fight for if they agree for Palestinian, free Palestine. They literally, yeah. The Palestinian people are one people, made up of all Palestinians, inside and outside Palestine, we said, irrespective of their religion, culture, and political affiliation. False or false? Because Christians and Jews will get killed, and atheists. Palestine is at the heart of Arab and Islamic Ummah and enjoys a special status. Within Palestine, there exists Jerusalem, whose princes are blessed by Allah. Palestine is a holy land, which Allah has blessed for the humanity. It is the Muslims' first Qibla and the destination of the journey performed at the night. See guys? The first Qibla and the destination of the journey performed at the night by Prophet Muhammad. Yet Prophet Muhammad couldn't go to Al-Aqsa Mosque because it wasn't built yet. Yet they're telling them Muhammad had his night journey to this mosque. I mean, hello. Okay, peace be upon him. In this location where they ascended in the upper heavens, it is birthplace of Jesus Christ. Peace be upon him. Its soil contains the remains of thousands of prophets, companions, and mujahideen. It is the land of people who are determined to defend the truth within Jerusalem and its surroundings, who are not deterred or intimidated by those who oppose them and by those who betray them. And they will continue their mission until the promise of Allah is fulfilled. By virtue of its justice, balance, and moderate spirit, Islam for Hamas provides a comprehensive way of life and an order that is fit for purpose at all times in all places. Islam is a religion of peace and tolerance. It's a joke. Come on. It provides an umbrella for the followers of its other creeds and religions who can practice their beliefs in security and safety. What an utter bullshit statement.
Well, as long as you're an Islamic nation, yeah, you'd be just fine, right?
Wow. That is total nonsense. You can practice religions in the security and safety under Islam. What? Hamas also believes that Palestine has always been and will always be a model of coexistence, tolerance, and civilizational innovation. Hamas believes that the message of Islam upholds the values of truth, justice, freedom, and dignity, and prohibits all forms of injustice and incriminates oppressors irrespective of their religion, race, gender, or nationality. Islam is against of all forms of religious, ethnic, or sectarian extremism and bigotry. That's literally what Hamas is. It is the religion that indicates all the follows the value of standing up to aggression and supporting the oppressed. It motivates them to give generously, to make sacrifices in defense for their dignity, their land, their people, and their holy places. Jerusalem is the capital of Palestine. Its religious, historic, and civilizational status is fundamental to the Arabs, Muslims, and the world at large. Its Islamic and Christian holy places belong exclusively to the Palestinian people and the Arab and Islamic Ummah. Guys, I want to ask you a question. Bethlehem, is that Christian based today?
Yes, Bethlehem is no, it's an Arab
Muslim
territory,
Arab Muslim.
ruled. It's under the Palestinian Authority.
Yeah.
Israel can go there, for taking people or catch terrorists or something. They have
Yeah, they can take on tours and things.
Yeah,
but it used to be a fully Christian area.
I
Now
don't know,
it's
but I know that there are lots of Christians there. It has to be because it's a very
because
simple
Bethlehem
place.
was the birthplace of Jesus.
You know what it means in Hebrew, Bethlehem? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Bethlehem. We call that Bethlehem, the house of the bread.
Ah, house of bread, yes.
Like
and Jesus, and that's what's interesting because Jesus says he is the bread that was broken for us.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so no one stone of Jerusalem can be surrendered or relinquished. The measure undertaken by the occupiers in Jerusalem, such as Judaization, settlement buildings, and establishment facts on the ground, are fundamentally null and void. The blessed Al-Aqsa Mosque belongs exclusively to our people and our Ummah, and the occupation has no right to it whatsoever. I thought they said they're free and for everybody to practice their religion, correct?
Yeah, but you see what is the problem in their charts? They do not define the Palestinian people. They do not refer to the Palestinian people in history, but having a king or having been a kingdom at one point. The latest they go back is like 1939. So that means that as far in history as they go is 1939. They don't go farther than that in history. There's no mention of like a Palestinian. They say okay, it's for thousands of years it's our lands, but under what kingdom? Under what treaty? Under what king? They don't say that. They cannot say that. You understand? So they act like they are like a legit people, but they're not. If we have to write this, we can bring references from the Bible and everything. As far like thousands of years.
Yeah.
But they can't.
They have nothing. They literally have to make up stuff. I mean, they teach this to the Islamic population, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they teach them false history.
Of course.
It's all just propaganda.
It's more than that.
Because
It's hatred. It's stupid. The hatred.
Because remember, this is dictatorship. It's the same as North Korea. Okay? They're not allowed to even have movies. They can't have the internet. They can't have books because all they can have is literature that's made in there for their propaganda. And that's exactly what Islam does. They have propaganda literature only that gives to their people what they need and want them to hear.
But the thing is that the Hamas organization, the truth is that they hate Gazans. They hate people from Gaza. They hate Arabs because they enslave them, they kill them, they exploit them. They don't give a shit about them. They
use them. They're using them for propaganda.
Totally, to dig all their tunnels. That they use children. They pay men like a couple of bucks a day or something, and most of the time it's like slavery. It's like forced labor. So they don't give a shit about their people. They're just using it. So that means that they don't care about the welfare of the Palestinian people. Like to bring them, like give them hospitals, give them like schools, and they don't give a shit about that. They just want to weaponize everything. They don't care. So that means they don't care about their people. They're not from the Gazan people. They don't belong there. They're strangers.
Yeah. Really weird. So let's see. The occupation's plots, measures, and attempts to Judaize Alaska and divide it are null, void, and illegitimate. The Palestinian cause, in its essence, is a cause of occupied land and a displaced people. The right of the Palestinian refugees and the displaced to return to their homes from which they were banished and were banned from returning to, whether in the lands occupied in 1948 or in 1967. Many of those people aren't even alive today, so how the hell can they've even... I don't know. What is the whole of Palestine? It is a natural right, both individual and collective. The right is confirmed by all divine laws, as well as the basic principles of human rights and international law. It is the inalienable right and cannot be dispensed by any party, whether Palestinian, Arab, or international. Hamas rejects all attempts to erase the rights of refugees, including the attempts to settle them outside Palestine and through the projects of the alternate homeland. Compensation to the Palestinian refugees for the harm they have suffered as a consequence of banishing them from occupying their land is an absolute right that goes hand in hand with their right to return. They are to receive compensation upon their return, and this does not negate or diminish their right to return. They never had the land. There's no such thing as Palestinian land. That's total nonsense.
I wonder what these compensations will go if they ever receive that.
It will go to Hamas.
Yeah, Hamas and
because
people,
Hamas is the ones that took all the money as it is anyway.
Of course, but they kick back the money, to the politicians that vote, to transfer public money to these terrorist organizations. So those politicians have kickbacks from the Hamas.
Yeah.
You also know that Hamas, deals in all kinds of illegal activities like drugs, everything possible. They
do everything. Everything that stands against Islam, they do. By the way, guys.
Everything, yeah. But according to Islam, they have the right to deceive the enemy. They have the right to do things that are against Islam, in case of war, to deceive the enemy.
Quite crazy.
So
look what it says. The Zionist project is a racist, aggressive, colonial, and expansionist project based on seizing the properties of others. It is hostile to the Palestinian people and to their aspiration for freedom, liberation, return, and self-determination. The Israeli entity is the plaything of a Zionist project and its base of aggression. Wow. The Zionist project does not target the Palestinian people alone. It is the enemy of the Arab and Islamic Ummah, posing a grave threat to its security and interests. It is also hostile to the Ummah's aspirations for unity, renaissance, and the liberation has been the major source of its troubles. The Zionist project also poses a danger to international security and peace, to mankind and its interests and stability. Hamas affirms that its conflict is with the Zionist project, not the Jews, because of their religion.
Yeah, we saw
Hamas
that
does not wage a struggle against the Jews because they are Jewish, but wages a struggle against the Zionists who occupy Palestine. Yet, it is the Zionists who constantly identify Judaism and the Jews with their own colonial project and illegal entity.
How can it be illegal if the United Nations voted for that? How can it be illegal? Fucking idiots.
It's not illegal. I want to know if Israel is 95% Zionists, and how many Jews do you have in Israel?
Well, out of a population of almost 10 million, I believe there are 6 million Jews.
Yeah.
So I believe. I'm not sure, but that's all I believe.
So literally, the Jews are Zionists?
No, Jews are Zionists, but all of them, they believe they have the right to live on their land.
So Zionist then?
No, Zionist is not.
Zionist.
Zionist is not the same thing. It's like when you say Zionist, you make the Jews belong to an Ashkenazi Eastern European association organization that was against the principle of the Torah. So that's complicated. I mean, a lot of people are not Zionists because Zionism goes against officially against the principles of the Torah. Ben Gurion was like, very much opposed to Jews practicing the Torah and everything. They just wanted to build a country as like all the countries, like as a regular country. So the thing is that being Zionist is not just wanting to come back. You don't have to be Zionist to come back in your home. You don't have to be like it's not an ideology. It's just like a right. It's your house, and the time comes now. The time came for the Jews to come home. Things are happening.
Yeah. Hamas rejects the persecution of any human being or the undermining of his or her rights on nationalist, religious, or sectarian grounds. Hamas is of the view that the Jewish problem, remember they said they got nothing against the Jewish.
Yeah, it's like the Nazis, the Jewish question.
But we just read. There's no, there's a difference between the Jews and Zionism, and they're trying to distinct the two apart. And now it's saying the Jewish problem.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Anti-Semitism and the persecution of the Jews are phenomena fundamentally linked to European history and not the history of the Arabs and the Muslims to their heritage. The Zionist movement, which was able with the help of Western powers to occupy Palestine, is the most dangerous form of settlement occupation, which has already disappeared from the much of the world and must disappear from Palestine. The following are considered null and void. The Balfour Declaration, the British Mandate Document, the UN Palestine Petition Resolution, and whatever resolutions or measures that derive from them are similar to them. The establishment of Israel is entirely illegal and contravenes the natural rights of the Palestinian people and goes against their will and the will of the Ummah. It is also the violation of human rights that are guaranteed by international conventions. Foremost among them is the right to self-determination. You know why they're saying it's legal, guys? Because the Balfour Declaration was accepted by Israel. Yeah.
Can I tell you? But
Palestine rejected it. So who got a right to land? Israel. They got their nation because they accepted the Balfour Resolution.
The Hamas is illegal. The Hamas is totally illegal.
Yeah, they're stupid. I mean, but that tells you something. The people that believe this nonsense spewed by Hamas, doesn't that make them even more stupid?
Well, they have to be stupid in order to do what
they have to be retarded to read this and think anything here is factual.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally take this and you can take 2 minutes of Google search and you'll see all this that Sparjay is wrong. Nothing spouted on this charter is correct.
It's all twisted.
It's insane. Okay, we're almost finished. There shall be no recognition of the legitimacy of Zionist entity. Whatever has befallen the land of Palestine in terms of occupation, settlement, building, Judaization. See, now they got a problem with Judaism again, Jewishism. Or changes to its features of falsification of facts, its legitimate rights never lapsed. Hamas believes that no part of the land of Palestine shall be compromised or conceded, irrespective of the causes, the circumstances, and the pressures, and no matter how long the occupation lasts. Hamas rejects any alternative to the full and complete liberation of Palestine from the river to the sea. However, with a compromising its rejection of the Zionist entity and without relinquishing any Palestinian rights. Hamas considers the establishment of a fully sovereign and independent Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital along the lines of the 4th of June 1967, with the return of refugees and the displaced to their homes from which they were expelled, to be formula of national consensus.
By the way, they were never expelled. Nobody expelled them. The Jews came in, they settled, they had no problems with the Arabs, and they tried to kill them. They lost and they left.
They left.
So they what refugee?
Was the Nakba?
Exactly. This is totally stupid, ridiculous, no sense.
And that's what I say. So it's literally they got a chip on their shoulders because they lost. It's the Nakba. Yeah. That's exactly, they left. It was called a catastrophe for a reason.
Yeah. Their own catastrophe. They chose the catastrophe.
Exactly.
Just like always, they always choose the catastrophe because the people ruling over those Arabs, they're not even either not Arabs or hate Arabs. That's why they choose always, like, they make the wrong choice for them. You know how many Arabs in the territories they want to live in Israel? They'll pay anything. They'll just do anything just to live in Israel because they know it's much better here, much better for them.
Yep.
Anyways.
Okay. Hamas also affirms the Oslo Accords and their agenda contravene the governing rules of international law in that they generate commitments that violate the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people. Therefore, the movement rejects the agreements and all that flows from them, such as the obligations that are determinal to the interests of our people, especially security coordination collaboration. Hamas rejects all agreements, initiatives, and settlement projects that are aimed at undermining the Palestinian cause and the rights of the Palestinian people. In this regard, any stance, initiative, or political program must not in any way violate these rights and should not contravene them to contradict them. Hamas stresses that transgression against the Palestinian people uprising their land and banishing them from their homeland cannot be called peace. Any settlements reached on this basis will not lead to peace. Resistance and jihad for the liberation of Palestine will remain a legitimate right, a duty, and an honor for all the sons and daughters of our people and our ummah. The liberation of Palestine is the duty of Palestinian people in the particular and duty of the Arab and Islamic ummah in general. It is also the humanitarian obligation as necessitated by the dictates of truth and justice. The agencies working for Palestine, whether national, Arab, Islamic, or humanitarian, complement each other, and the other are harmonious and not in conflict with each other. Resisting the occupation with all the means and methods is a legitimate right guaranteed by divine laws and by international norms and laws. At the heart of these lies armed resistance, which is regarded as the strategic choice for protecting the principles and the rights of Palestinian people. In other words, you can, what do they have a name for this? It's called, what's it when you try to overthrow your government?
A coup.
A coup.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Woo. Remind me about the Alonzo Accord. I'm trying to remember what it was about to begin with. I've heard of it, and I've heard it said in context, but I don't know if that's to do with any of this at all.
Yeah, it has. Let me just actually get it open very quickly. The Oslo Accord, by the way. It's not the Alonzo Accord, it's the Oslo Accord. The Oslo Accords were taken in 1993 to 1995. It was signed between Israel and the PLO, Yasser Arafat, and Yitzhak Rabin, created by Palestinian Authority for self-rule in Gaza and West Bank areas. It was seen as a step towards a two-state solution. It collapsed after the continued terrorism and assassination of Rabin. Understand?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So Hamas rejects any attempt to undermine the resistance and its arms. It also affirms the right to our people to develop the means and mechanisms of resistance, managing resistance in terms of escalation or de-escalation, in terms of diversifying the means and methods, is an integral part of process of managing the conflict and should not be the expense of the principle of resistance. A realist state of Palestine is a state that has been liberated. There is no alternative to fully sovereign Palestine state on the entire national Palestinian soil with Jerusalem as its capital. They're literally contradicting themselves. Hamas believes in and adheres to managing its Palestinian relations on the basis of pluralism, democracy, national partnership, acceptance of other, and the adoption of dialogue. The aim is to bolster the unity of ranks and joint action of the purpose of accomplishing national goals and fulfilling the aspirations of the Palestinian people. The PLO is the national framework for the Palestinian people inside and outside Palestine. It should therefore be preserved, developed, and rebuilt on democratic foundations, almost read demonic foundations, so as to secure the protection of all constituents and forces of the Palestinian people in a manner that safeguards Palestinian rights. Hamas stresses the necessity of building Palestinian national institutions on the sound democratic principles. Foremost among them are free and fair elections. Such process should be in basis of national partnership and in accordance with a clear program and clear strategy that adhere to the rights, including the rights of resistance, and which fulfill the aspirations of Palestinian people. I want to ask you guys a question based on history. When Hamas was voted into power, have they had an election ever since?
No.
No.
They killed about 200 of the Fatah.
Fatah, yes.
People.
They threw them off buildings.
They shot them in the street, like 200 people. They killed about.
Yeah, they shot them in the streets and threw them off buildings. Fatah was also one of the, you could say, their adversaries that wanted to be part of ruling. So Hamas killed them.
Anybody that supports Hamas or Palestine, everything, you just have to be crazy, because when they look at I also want to free Palestine, to free them from the Hamas, to free them from that mafia that holds them hostage, to free them from all the French, Canadian, and English NGOs that that bring them money in order to keep them in their misery, and just weaponize them against us. They have to be free of these people. I'm also for to free Palestine. That's 100%. But from the real evil, not the fake one.
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
Okay, Hamas affirms that we're almost finished. The Hamas affirms the role of Palestinian Authority should be serve the Palestinian people and safeguard their security, the rights, and their national project.
Yes,
Hamas stresses the necessity of maintaining the independence of Palestinian national decision-making. Outside forces should not be allowed to intervene. At the same time, Hamas affirms the responsibility of the Arabs and the Muslims and their duty and role in the liberation of Palestine from Zionist occupation. There is no Zionist occupation in Gaza. They literally withdrew in 2005.
Yeah, but what they're going to tell you that it's for all the Palestine and not just Gaza. It's just like for the Negev, everything.
Yeah, they want everything.
That's what they.
Yeah, but I want to ask you something. If Israel was really the colonizers they want to do, why, and you want to just occupy all the land, why did you give the land to the Palestinians?
Yeah, just like when they said that there is a genocide, how come the population is increasing every year?
They're growing.
This is
why is there 2 million Palestinians living in Israel if they literally want to genocide Palestine?
If you can believe the the Palestinian bullshit, Hamas bullshit, you can believe in the globe. You can just believe that they want to.
You can do anything.
Same people, same kind of people.
You can believe you're actually descendants from aliens.
If you the only hope for the Palestinian is Israel. The only hope, the only help is the state of Israel. Not the Arab states who have trillions of dollars. They don't send them shit. They don't send them no help.
They don't even open their borders for the Palestinian refugees.
They don't want, but they have good reasons, and I agree with them, because Palestinians always turn against people that help them. They turn against every single Arab country that tried to host them. They turned against their government. They tried to take over, or they made alliances with their enemies, and all over the place. In Lebanon, the Christian, that received them the best, they massacred them, they killed them, they just made massacres, carnage, and those people were gave them everything. In Kuwait, same thing. When Saddam Hussein attacked Kuwait, they joined the Iraqi forces against the Kuwait, who welcomed them, to come there. Same thing in Syria. They tried to go against Assad. Same thing in Jordan. Jordan just sent the tanks and just was shooting, with the tanks right in the population area, in the tents, right away. They didn't give a shit. So everywhere they went, they turned against people that hosted them. Arabs hate them because they've been so twisted by anti-Semitic, Nazi, neo-Nazi, people that these people are so twisted that they cannot be trusted in anything. They're so fake. They're so
But that's what I'm saying. If the so-called Zionists weren't there and they weren't hating Jews, they would literally be fighting their own people. They would be fighting the Muslims, and that's exactly what happened. If you look through Islamic history, that happened when Muhammad died. Do you know the Muslims were literally killing each other?
Yeah, that's what happens all over the place. In Syria, that's what's happening. There's like about 10 or 20 factions there. Different factions. They're gonna fight against each other.
They're fighting amongst each other.
Yeah, that's what they hate each other. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's no unity.
That's crazy. Palestine society is enriched by its prominent personalities, figures, dignitaries, civil society, institutions, and youth, students, trade unionists, and women's groups who together work for achievement of national goals and social building, pursue resistance, and achieve liberation. I laugh when I read women's groups because women have no rights in Islam. Okay. The role of a Palestinian woman is fundamental in the process of building the present and future, as it has always been, the process of making Palestinian history. It is the pivotal role in the project of resistance, liberation, and building the political system. Hamas believes that the Palestinian issue is the central cause for the Arab and Islamic Ummah. Hamas believes in the unity of the Ummah with all its diverse constituents and is aware that need to avoid anything that could fragment the Ummah and undermine its unity. Hamas believes it's cooperating with the states that support the rights of Palestinian people. It opposes intervention in the international affairs of any country. It also refuses the drawn into disputes and conflicts take place among different countries. Hamas adopts the policy of opening up to different states in the world, especially the Arab and Islamic states. It endeavors to establish balanced relations on the basis of combining the requirements of the Palestinian cause and the Palestinian people interest on the one hand with the interest of the Ummah, its renaissance and its security on the other.
Yeah, they have also a space program. They have also everything. Palestinian Hamas. They have a space program. They have everything. This is ridiculous. Like if they're modern society, advanced, this is nuts.
That's crazy. Okay, the Palestinian issue is one of the major humanitarian and international dimensions. Supporting and backing this cause is a humanitarian and civilizational task that is required by the prerequisites of truth, justice, and common humanitarian values. From a legal and humanitarian perspective, the liberation of Palestine is a legitimate activity, is an act of self-defense and the expression of a natural right for all people of self-determination. In its relations with the world nations and peoples, Hamas believes its values of cooperation, justice, freedom, and respect of the will of the people. Hamas welcomes the stances of states, organizations, and institutions that support the right of Palestinian people. It salutes the free people of the world who support the Palestinians' cause. At the same time, it denounces the support granted by any party to the Zionist entity, or with attempts to cover up its crimes and aggression against the Palestinians and call for the prosecution of Zionist war criminals. Hamas rejects the attempts to impose hegemony, what's that? On the Arab and Islamic Ummah, just as it rejects the attempts to impose hegemony on the rest of the world's nations and peoples. Hamas also condemns all forms of colonialism, occupation, discrimination, oppression, and aggression in the world, where there's literally the whole thing we read was based on Islam is a colonialism and an occupationist, and they discriminate, and they have oppressive, and they are very aggressive. Literally, that last is what Islam is, but they say they're against it.
Yeah. Let's see what we have to deal with here.
Oh, it's insane.
You guys in America, you only have the Indians. Look at us. Oh, man.
Look what it says here. Our objective is clear. We want to liberate our land, our holy sites, our Al-Aqsa Mosque, our prisoners. We have no hesitation about this. This is the goal that is worthy of this battle, worthy of this heroism, worthy of this courage. Our Qassam brigades made the enemy lose its balance in just a few minutes. With this grand and blessed insertion, with this epic presence of men who write history with their blood and their guns, with their footsteps that crush the occupying invaders. And we say all countries, we say to all countries, including our beloved Arab countries, you must know that this entity which is incapable of protecting itself from our fighters is incapable of providing you with security or protection. That's literally a threat to all countries, guys. They're threatening all the countries. Let me read it again. And we say to all countries, including our beloved Arab countries, you must know that this entity, which is incapable of protecting itself from our fighters, is incapable of providing you with security or protection. All the normalization and recognition processes, all the agreements that have been signed with Israel can never be put to an end to this battle.
It reminds me of Hitler's speeches, a little bit like aggressive and, our beloved nation and, kill and destroy and defend.
And this is the link in chat, guys, if you want to go read it for yourself. Wow.
No. It's enough, believe me.
I think that was a long session to go through. But you see how literally that end statement was threatening the whole world, that no one can be protected from their insertion, from their domination.
But the thing is that the people behind the Hamas and behind all these people, they hate Jews as well as Arabs. That means that
and Christians, they hate everybody.
Yeah, exactly. That means that by making this chart there, they also intend to attract hatred towards the Arabs. That never, Arabs, we know them. They want to dominate the land. They don't want to kill you. They don't want to exterminate you. They just want to, to dominate the land. And if you're not Muslim, so you have to pay some kind of a fee or something, and that's it. They leave you alone.
But you see, that's the difference with the Arabs, though. I've said this last time with that other guy we spoke with. They know who they are. They know where they come from. They have a foundation for what they stand on. When it comes to the specific, these Palestinians, they don't actually have a land. They don't have anything other than radicalism through Islam. They're almost like the bastard child that's jealous of someone. That's all it is. They have a hate for everybody, and they just want domination of the world. There's nothing more to it than that. And I can't believe that governments, for instance, the UK and Australia and Canada and France, everybody that's siding with them, have not even been able to read through this.
They don't care about reading through them. They just want to, they don't give it. They don't care about.
They just don't want to offend them.
They're not looking for justice or the truth or whatever, what's right or wrong. Kidding me?
No government is.
They're cowards. That's what it is. They're cowards.
They're not. They don't reason like human beings. You and I, we can think as humans, but those are machines, like zombies, like
But yeah, you see, the problem is what they're doing. They're playing a very dangerous game, because they're allowing them to slowly but surely creep into the society and take over from within. When it's too late, then they're probably going to want to do something, and then they can't. It's insane. Anyway, guys, I think we made the point. Yeah. I'll do another stream where we actually go through the debate finished. But this was anyway still on topic because it was showing why you should be supporting Israel as a Christian. Why? Because the propaganda against Zionism, quote unquote, is anti-Christian. It's anti-God's people as well. It's literally anti-humanity.
Yeah.
Do you have Muslims in South Africa over there?
Oh yeah, we have a lot.
See that?
They literally starting a political party that's starting here as well. An Islamic political party. Yeah.
Well, God bless you guys. Take care in the meantime.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I've got to get going.
You guys have any closing statements?
Yeah, I'm just sick of the hate. It's tiring. It's really tiring. It's sad. It's really sad. Yeah, it's actually making me sad. I'm sorry.
But that's why we have to rely on God, guys. That's why you have to stand fast on God's word, because the times are dangerous. It's not a time to be complacent and stand and just be cowardice and just accept everything. People have to stand up for what's right. Put God first.
Yeah.
Nice. That was a great stream. It was very educational. I got to see a lot of what Hamas actually stands for at the end there.
And I really ask anybody, send the stream to as much people as possible, just so they can see that information. Because a lot of people don't know that. They really do believe Hamas is not a terrorist organization. They think October 7 never happened. They think Hamas is just a freedom charter. They're there for freedom. And it's nonsense. They're not freedom at all. They're not.
Yeah. Yeah, but the funny part is that they're never going to want to go there and help them. They're just going to help them from a distance, like the gays for
Palestine. For Palestine.
Yeah, it's like cows for McDonald's. Same thing, same kind of shit.
I mean, I don't know if you guys watched that video where they had some Palestinian activists trying to go through the borders of Egypt to try and go to Palestine, where they literally took them and threw them back in the bus and said, "You will not go through here." It's like
they don't understand. There are women, many times like Christian women and men, and they go there, and they end up being killed, raped, killed, and and believe me, it happens. It happens a lot. We don't talk about them, because it's not politically correct to talk about that. But there's a lot of people that come and help them that end up being like savagely killed. Those are not like I'm not talking only about the population, because population is also like a little fucked up by all this, but most especially by these organizations, because they're all craving for money, they're all craving for everything, so they're just like like Mad Max, like
it's exactly that.
It's crazy, it's nuts.
Uh-huh.
But I think now we're gonna go to the end of that. It's gonna be like it's going to be wiped, all that's going to be wiped clean, and then Palestinians can come back, we can rebuild. It's going to take 3 generations to re-educate them and everything, to just not to take out all that shit they got in their minds, and it's going to be good. I think now they want to go to the end, also with the Hezbollah and all that, they want to just finish with this. It's like it's too much. It costs too much, lives, blood, money, everything, just like for nothing. It doesn't go nowhere. The money they took, the Palestinians, they could have transformed, Gaza into Dubai, like tenfold. They could have become like Monaco, Monte Carlo, with casinos and everything. It's like there's billions, and hundreds of billions. I'm not talking just were poured in there. You have no idea. It's amazing, and that's a big business. It's a huge business.
Yeah.
Well,
it was great having you guys on. PJ having a stream tomorrow morning, or
no?
17 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't expect us to go on so long tonight again. But yeah, it was kind of necessary. We had to go through that whole charter quickly.
Yeah, that was a good stream, man. I was mostly just listening the whole time, but
yeah, me too.
I'm now thirsty. But hopefully everybody was listening to what actually was going on there. because it was long, but it's important information that people need to know because people are defending that.
Mm-hmm.
And Stanley keeps rambling him off out here, man. He's funny. I like him.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks guys for coming. I appreciate it. Very, very great having you here. Yeah. So Sam, I'm going to email you again. I did email you, I think it was yesterday or the day before, asking about a thing for some interviews I was talking about.
Okay.
So yeah, guys, I've actually got some plans for interviews on this channel from a few people that live in Israel and Gaza and things. So it's going to be quite interesting. Let's just hope these things come to fruition. Really, really cool. But yeah, but appreciate it. You guys rock, and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Make sure to catch PJ now in 20 minutes. What movie are you guys going to watch tonight?
It's another good one. I remember you said it last night.
F1, and then there's one called The Substance. The Substance is a bit of a weirder one, but F1's like to do with Formula One.
Yeah, Formula One racing. I still want to watch it. I still want to watch Formula One, so don't tell me. Okay, don't spoil it.
No, I won't. I just realized both movies are over 2 hours long. I can't believe that. I really do pick them.
Stay up all night and watch it. Flash, you should come over.
Yeah, we'll all pull an all-nighter together.
So I'm gonna drop it.
Yeah, well, it's almost reaching 1 o'clock here, so I don't think it's very safe for me to do that. I've got things to do.
Yeah, don't blame you. You're gonna miss the stream tomorrow. You do that.
But yeah, it was great having you guys on. Please hit the likes, share the show. Make sure to go catch some Formula One now, and then yeah, you guys rock. Appreciate you guys on the panel as well. Appreciate everybody. Many blessings. Bye.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bless you, brother.
Later.
Cheers, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.